how I'd master AI in 2025.
They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate. I'm way too fly, yeah, I'm feeling myself. Ain't no chance I'm coming down, no. Got a soul view to myself, yeah. Why would I give it up? Why do they wanna come take my place? I work too hard for it, don't need a replacement. This my vocation, now I got rollies all in rotation. Hop on a jet just to take a vacation. Remember the moments was trapped in the basement. Now the hard work is all taking me places. Water all black like we trapped in the matrix. Bet on myself and go ball out in Vegas. Living a life like I'm rich and I'm famous. Don't see the grind that I know that it came with. Oh. I ain't make it this far for myself, yeah. Straight, yeah, I had to ball, so I had to renovate, I know. They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. I had to elevate. Ooh, yeah. Why they wanna put me down? So much drip, yeah, I almost drowned in it. I can't come it down. Yeah, I'm way too fired up. I can't slow it down. Ooh, yeah, yeah. I see the flashing lights. Make sure the fashion right, yeah. I'm in my bag tonight, yeah. Ooh, I might just pull up a foreign. Watch out, the engine is roaring. It's too loud, you can ignore it. This that highlights for the few. You get to have it all, no need to choose. First let me demonstrate how you can rise to the top. Yeah, I had to elevate, 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 elevate. They hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. Yeah, they hate when you elevate, elevate, elevate. They hate when you elevate, yeah. I had to elevate.
They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly, I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight. They hate when you elevate. The second of losses, I'm handing them out, yeah, I had to go delegate. It feel like I'm floating, I'm lost in the moment, I swear I could levitate. They never believed that I would really fly. I had to go demonstrate. I had to set them straight.
They hate when you elevate.
All right. Good morning, ATP. What it do? What it do? Salute. We are trying. It is fight week again. It's fight week every week. It's fight week every week, right? It's definitely fight week every week at this point. Man, bro, be careful what you ask for, right? We asked for it. We said, give us more boxing, give us more fights, give us more. We want to see the best fight the best, right? And what happened? We got Saturday coming up. We got July 19th. We got multiple cards going on at the same time, multiple fights going on at the same time. What did we do? People? Are we biting off more than we can chew? Too much boxing to talk about. Last night's show was a great, epic show. Shout out to everybody who's on the panel, man. If you weren't there, check out the replay. We talked about everything that happened over the weekend. We talked about David Morrell and Imam Katiev. We talked about Sabril and Alberto Puello. We talked about, obviously, Shakur Stevenson and his great performance. We talked about Edgar Berlanga and his bubble being popped, and Hamza Shiraz showing up for the 168-pound weight class division. We put everything in perspective, right? We talked a little about David Benavidez and his fight with Anthony Yarde. We talked about these fighters transitioning from 168 pounds now to 175. And is the power going to translate? Is the punch resistance going to be there? These fights are more interesting than it looks like on paper. When you look at David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde on paper, you think, David, easy. But when you look at the intangibles and we pay attention to the transition and what it's going to take to compete against the punching power of an Anthony Yarde, who could probably compete in the cruiserweight division if he wanted to, fighting against David Benavidez, we know that there's new obstacles, new adversity, new intangibles, new things that David Benavidez has to deal with and adjust with. We're still favoring David Benavidez, most of us, to win that fight, but understanding that what we're looking for is how's he going to adjust to these new, to the new adversity, right? We talked about all those things. Now, going into this weekend, we've got fights we need to talk about. We're going to see redemption on the menu, as I stated in the thumbnail, as we watch two rematches that held a lot of weight during the time when the fights happened. We watched Daniel Dubois, in his first fight with Alexander Usyk. Ultimately, we questioned his heart at the end of that fight. Man, this kid had so much promise, and then, just seems like he didn't have it anymore. Then we watched this road back to him getting a chance to get that redemption against Alexander Usyk, a fight that I'm sure he's lost sleep about at night, a body shot that reigned throughout the whole entire boxing algorithm. Was it too low? Wasn't it too low? What would have happened if the referee would have counted the countdown? He wasn't promised to get this rematch. He wasn't promised to get an opportunity at redemption, but here he is. He fought hard, a hard-fought road. Jarrell, we saw it. We saw Jarrell Miller. We saw it. We remember Philip Ergovitz, Anthony Joshua. We remember these fights and how epic it was for him to be on this road where he's at right now. And now he gets an opportunity not only to get that fight back and potentially get that win and correct history, but also gets an opportunity to become an undisputed heavyweight champion. I mean, how sweet is that? Movie worthy, right? The story just, makes you want to fight hard in your life to accomplish the things, right, that are hard, and puts in perspective a lot of things going on in life. So we're going to talk about that, man. And what adjustments does Daniel Dubois need to make in order to make this fight go his way? The younger fighter, Daniel Dubois, I think has an understated, underrated athleticism about him that people may not speak about enough, right? And we know Usyk, what he brings to the table, but also Usyk up in age now. How's that wearing on him? As athleticism is the first thing to go when you're getting older. Is Usyk overstaying his welcome in the heavyweight division? Is Daniel Dubois going to help him on his way out the door? We're going to talk about that. We got to talk about Tszyu. We got to talk about Sebastian Fundora. This fight right here, what happened? Where did this fight even come from, right? There's a story behind this fight being made, but also Tszyu having to fight his way back. Is he back? You know, the last fight we saw him in, he looked pretty good, but against who? A Joey Spencer? Is this guy ready to get back in the ring with a towering inferno, southpaw towering inferno, who looks like he's starting to get more comfortable using those physical attributes? He's using that jab. He's standing behind that jab. He's doing things a little different now. There's an argument there to say that Sebastian Fundora is a better fighter than he was when he fought against Tszyu. But what intangibles steered that fight last time? The last-minute replacement in a Sebastian Fundora, the cut on his head, all these different things. We're hearing about Tszyu and rehydration clauses and, you know, maybe possibly entertaining going to 160 sooner rather than later. Is he getting too big for the division? Is he having a hard time making the weight in this division? And ultimately, what adjustments is Tszyu going to have to make now that he has a full camp behind him now, right, to prepare for Sebastian Fundora, where he didn't have that before? Is that going to make the difference? And at the same time, are we looking past the fact that Sebastian Fundora as well didn't have a full camp to get ready for Tszyu? So now, with both these guys having full camps going into this fight, redemption is on the menu. Is the PTSD going to be there for Tszyu as he's fighting Sebastian Fundora? He's going to be dealing with the idea that, man, I got to watch that elbow. This guy is really tall, right? Really got to watch how I step in to fight this guy at a close range and mid-range game. And what is Tszyu willing to do and put on the line to make this happen? We'll talk about that, of course. We got to talk about Bam Rodriguez, as Bam Rodriguez is slowly but surely earning that reputation, right? He has the reputation already, but now getting an opportunity to unify in his division and already planned on another fight, as Turki Al-Sheikh is trying to keep fighters busy. But is this the bad luck? You know, I'm starting to question, you know, they talk about the Madden curse, right? Or the video game curse where these fighters get put on the front of these games and all of a sudden they get the bad luck and they get the worst losses, they get the injuries, they have the worst seasons. Is this something that Turki Al-Sheikh is bringing to the table that's kind of like taboo? Is Bam Rodriguez going to have the curse of looking past the fighter in front of him to plan fighters ahead of him? Could it be a possible upset for Bam Rodriguez? Is it even possible, right? I don't know, right? We got to talk about Cafu and talk about what he brings to the table and the intangibles that are in this fight. We'll talk about that as well. Undercard is going to be jumping. Diego Pacheco, obviously, getting an opportunity to fight Trevor McCumbee on his journey to become one of the next guys at 168, on the back end of seeing Hamza Shiraz perform the way he did and entering the 168 division. Listen, man, Diego Pacheco needs to get busy because Hamza Shiraz is right there, right behind him, trying to get to the same goal, trying to get to the payday of Canelo Alvarez, trying to be the king of 168. Diego Pacheco looking to make a statement this weekend against Trevor McCumbee, sharing a common opponent now with Caleb Plant. We saw Trevor McCumbee against Caleb Plant. We know what he can do. Is he that limited, one-dimensional? Diego Pacheco shown to be one of those guys we got to keep our eye on in that 168 division, right there with the Christian Mbillis and all these other up-and-coming 168 super middleweight fighters that are in the division. And we got a lot of other stuff to talk about, right? We got now we have hand wrap gate, right? With Hamza Shiraz, as a lot of Berlanga fans are now questioning the integrity of the hand wrap that was on Hamza Shiraz. And, you know, was there some underlying things that we may not be looking at? Should we look deeper into it? We'll talk about that today as well, right? Or do we have a bunch of crybabies who don't want to hold their fighter accountable and allow him to take a loss and allow him to grow from that, right? Because there's an opportunity here for Edgar Berlanga to grow as a fighter, right? To take that fight and not make any excuses. Not to say that it would have been a different fight if his hands were wrapped legally or some other nonsense. Are they going to somehow take this away from Edgar Berlanga, the learning opportunity that's there, and potentially stunt this up and coming star, right, in boxing's growth? Did he need that loss, right? It is what it is. We're going to talk about all those things. Clearly, we'll open up the panel a little bit later as well. Have people come up there. We're not going to be here today. I'm really trying to cap out at like 2 hours, so we're going to try to get through these topics quickly. Open up the panel. I'm traveling tomorrow, heading out with the wifey. We're going out to go do husband and wifey things outside, you know, gonna take a flight somewhere, and got stuff to do today, right? Bags to pack, go buy last minute things, all those different things. So we're gonna build on it though, man. Guys, stay tuned in, stay locked in with us here. You know how we carry here at ATP. We're gonna talk about it all. We're gonna cover the whole broad space landscape of boxing, and I can't wait also to hear what you guys think about the topics we're talking about. Shout out to my co-host Ray Davis in the building, hanging out quietly in the back, waiting as I do my little intro. What's good, Ray Davis? What's on your mind, family? How you feeling, man? You're definitely muted, so let's go ahead and make sure we do that first. Is everybody
address that first?
I
was saying, let me know if my sound get bad, because they still working on these wires around my house, and I think the other company that put up their boxes, I think they messed up the internet to everybody else. So I'm about to make a phone call soon, and I just wanted to say, Echo, man, blessings. It is a great weekend, man. A good weekend of boxing, man. This is gonna be a really good week. So understand, and shout out to everybody in the chat, man. For real.
No doubt. Ray, let me get one moment to go ahead and shout out the people who are in the building. There's many places that you could be in this boxing conversation. There's many other platforms, bigger platforms than this one. But if you're here, I really appreciate it, because I know you don't have to be. So we got to shout these guys out. Shout out to AK Crowder, made it here early in the morning, half an hour before the show went up, to give us those blessings. We always look forward to getting those blessings from AK Crowder. Blessings back at you, brother. Thank you, man. Shout out to Deloney Fam Sports in the building. Salute to you, King. Good to see you. Hope you're in good health, man. Eastside Easy in the building, man. Always good. I got that post on Instagram that you showed the video of getting that of winning that prize when we hit that 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate you, fam. And like you said in that DM, still locked in, man. We appreciate you staying here and being still locked in. Walaikum salam to my fly frequency in the building, man. Showing love, man. Good to see you, brother. I know we in the building when you're here. Echo is in the building, man. The scholar from across the pond says, Clay, how you doing today? I'm doing great, Echo. Thank you, man. Feeling good. Still being loyal to my diet, being loyal to this journey, trying to cut this weight, get down to the years ago version of me, being loyal to it. Very proud of myself, man. And I'm feeling great, by the way. Looking great, feeling great, more importantly, man. And just motivated to continue to follow through with this, man, and reach the goals that we're trying to hit, man. Salute to you. Shout out to Adel Choice, starting the morning off. Walaikum salam, Adel Choice, and with the $2 holler, showing love and support to the channel. Always appreciate the color in the channel, man. Thank you, Adel. And guys, don't be scared to support the channel, man. Throw a little color in there. You could throw a little $2 in there right next to Adel, man. Every little bit helps, keeps the channel going, gives me the ability to go ahead and upgrade and do new things and make the channel better, man. So, show love, man, without a doubt, man. Shout out to the Butcher in the building. The Butcher in the building. Salute, King. Hope everything is good with you, man. We're going to talk some boxing today. Z Pacino in the building. Salute to you, family. Thanks for being in the building. Of course, here for boxing in the building, man. Mr. No BS, no stress. Don't mess with here for boxing. Boy will eat your breakfast, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Y'all stay low. Stay out that man's way, man. He's really a whole problem out here, bro. It could complicate your day. That's all I'm saying. Complicate your day. It could be easy with him. It could be easy peasy lemon squeezing with him, or the day could get complicated. Shout out to him for boxing. Echo says some good matches to look forward to coming soon. 100%, man. We got to talk about these cards. We're going to talk about these fights, man. Interesting fights, man. Boxing is in one of the best spaces that I can remember in a long time. I don't know, Ray, we'll talk about it later, but man, boxing in a beautiful space right now, man. And if you're a real boxing fan, you might be overwhelmed a little bit. It might be a little too much. I think this weekend we're going to talk about it. So I don't know how I'm going to watch all these fights, man. Somebody's going to get the replay, brother. I don't know who's going to be, but somebody's going to get the replay, bro, because I can't promise I'm watching every single one of these. I don't know. We're going to try. But it's difficult, man. A whole lot going on this weekend, man. But we asked for it, right? We said we wanted this. You know what I mean, man? I don't know if we're biting off one that we could choose.
And what's fat? I was gonna say fat. That's an old word, PHAT. Y'all don't know. You know what I mean? But what's
bringing
really,
it back.
You know what I mean? You know what's good about this, Clay? Mm-hmm. Is it's all international.
Man,
so crazy. So all that. We got to bring it back home. And you know what I mean? It's crazy, dog. All international. I love it.
Yeah. And look, I'm going to be real with you, right, Ray? the road and shout out. I'm gonna consistently go ahead and take an opportunity to shout out David Benavidez, who ultimately it took some time. He was patient. I actually respect and understand where he was coming from to allow Samson Leakowitz and allow Al Heyman and the PBC to kind of get an opportunity to give him that opportunity first, right? It's like, okay, I'm going over here to Saudi Arabia to go do this meeting, but if you guys feel like you need another month or so and you think there's some opportunities you can make out, I'm going to give you that benefit of the doubt. But when it was all said and done, when it came time to it, he said it, right? He said, listen, okay, guys, you're not able to do it. Now you got to ride with me. Come on with me. Support my play now because I got to do what's right for my boxing career. I got to do what's right for boxing. I have accolades that I need to go get. So are you going to support me? I supported you. I left Saudi Arabia, got on the first flight, left, had the whole world shook. Everybody thought I was crazy. I did it to hold you guys down. But now, can we admit that you guys can't provide that and facilitate that for me? And are you going to support me on the move I have to make? Shout out to the PBC who's supporting him and playing their position and allowing David Benavidez to get in the conversation with the best fighters in the world, because that's what it's about. Right. Getting the best fighters in the circle of the best fighters in the world. And if you're truly trying to prove your greatness, if you think you're that, then you'll do everything in your power as a fighter to get in front of those fighters. You won't allow the across the street politics to get in the way of your legacy being put together. You won't allow it to happen. The best of the best won't allow it, right? Terrence Crawford fought the good fight, but ultimately where'd he end up? With the PBC with a 1-2 fight deal, because he knew that fight with Errol Spence was going to make the biggest difference in his legacy. He fought it. We can respect him for fighting it, but ultimately he picked legacy and he got past the politics of it and he made it happen.
And,
right?
and believe me, I believe it's more activity than it was so much of the politics, because I'm going to tell you something that I noticed. And timelines is a key thing. I'm not going to tell you, but I had a little birdie in a tree, when you whisper something in the ear. And apparently he was supposed to be on the undercard of that Gervonta Davis Roach card. And because of the delay and uncertainties, he needed to stay busy, bro. He wasn't going to let this one pass him by. So, he got to be a headliner instead of him being the co-main. So it worked out for him. Being patient.
Listen, man, you gotta pick yourself. You gotta remember why you're here, man. Everybody wants to be loyal to anybody who's ever helped you out or put their neck out there for you. You want to be loyal, but at the same time, not at the cost of throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? Everything has a limit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to see David Benavidez make that move, man. I'm serious, man. I was so happy because for me, it was like, how are you going to get in this conversation and at the same time carry out the PBC or Samson Leakowitz's personal aspirations to dominate as a promotional company? It's like, yeah, we gotta have some balance here where we're allowing that to happen. I want to see you guys win, but not at the cost of me losing. Right. Shout out to Sebastian Fundora, who we're going to be talking about a little bit later. But, you guys know I hold a little bit of issue with him vacating that title because I don't understand. I held a little issue with it. Right. But still, we got a great fight coming up with him against Tszyu. But, you got to pick yourself sometimes. Shout out to Here for Boxing for the $5 holler, putting it in there, supporting us, putting that code in the chat, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. Like he said, we ain't scared, young bull. Nah, never that. Nah. Never that.
It's funny, Clay. And shout out to Devontre, man. I only say that because you said my name right. So, much respect to the brother. But it's funny you say all these things, Clay, because it's simple just to keep it going, man. Boxing, when you have Turkey's doing great things, man. When you got boxing from all platforms fighting on his channel without no complaints. None. But yet, here we are. Still in the thick of the thin. Same argument every week. We ain't even arguing. We just telling it how it is, right? So salute to these guys, man. Salute to all the fighters that step up, willing to take those chances and get in the ring and prove themselves, man. Because this is the best opportunity we've seen of all fighters. This is great.
Yeah, and you're the wool's getting pulled off from over a lot of people's eyes in the game if you guys are paying attention. And a lot of because I see somebody put it here, shout out to Sonny Augustine, who's speaking to the, wishing death on Turkey and how deep these content creators are going with it, but they're showing you, pay attention to them, because they're showing you that they're not here for boxing. Boxing is not the point. You're dealing with a lot of culture vultures, right, who saw an opportunity to exploit to exploit a niche in a space, and now that niche that they exploited is being contested a little bit. It's not there in the same capacity that it was. And what are they willing to do? They're willing to flush the whole entire space out off the strength of that. They're not celebrating boxing, and they're tearing down boxing. And remember that on their watch, when they grew and they went over 100,000 subscribers, and they seem to be, because once you go over like a certain amount of subscribers, you become the part of the algorithm, and you move the needle in the boxing space. And remember that in the past couple of years, the American boxing space not only fell, especially, not only fell out the way, but also got taken, right? So remember who was in office when that happened. Remember under whose watch that happened under, because there's a reason why Turkey was able to do what he did. And that's because the space became watered down, and a lot of casuals who don't even watch, a lot of your favorite content creators, and a lot of them, I'm gonna be honest with you, aren't even watching fights. They're not. You can tell by the way they call in the fights, and you can tell by how hyper focused they are on one fighter and not talking about boxing in its entirety. So much boxing going on right now. I don't know how a content creator in this boxing space has time to focus on a fighter who's not fighting. We barely have enough time on a show to cover what's actually happening. We still have to pick and choose what we talk about. You know what I'm saying? And talk about so much boxing. So if they're able to every morning wake up and still come back and focus on a certain topic, understand that they're not watching boxing, right? So wishing death on anyone is diabolical. It's toxic in the thought process to even think like that. A. B. Wishing death on the legitimate catalyst and driving vehicle behind boxing moving for your favorite fighters, for the David Benavidez's, for the David Morrells, for the Alberto Puellos, for the Subriel Matias's, for the Shakur Stevensons, for the Devin Haney's, for the Brian Normans, for the Shushu Carringtons, for the Monster Inoue's, to the Hamza Shiraz's, to all these fighters that you guys probably wouldn't even really been watching and wouldn't have had an opportunity to showcase their talents for you. To wish death on that is almost like wishing death on the sport to a certain degree, right? So just pay attention to these guys, man. I'm telling you, pay attention to these guys, and don't be scared to ask these guys how they feel when they're sitting here talking. Well, how do you feel about Alexander Usyk versus Daniel Dubois? And watch the answers that you're going to get. How do you feel about Moses Atuma versus Dillian White? How do you feel about that card coming up? How do you feel about Bam Rodriguez in that card? What do you think about Diego Pacheco at 168 right now, man? He's gotten ready to fight Trevor McCumbee. How long do you think it's going to take for him to get in the title? Watch, speak to them, ask questions, and let's see how dialed in they are into the sport that you say you love. Let's see if they love the sport the same way you do, right? Shout out to who else is in the building? Just want to make sure I catch everybody. Hold on a second here. Devontre Bones, salute to you. Bradley 68 said, y'all talk more about the other channels than the boxing. Y'all talk more about the other channel. Yeah, that's nonsense, bro.
I think he's generally talking, hopefully.
No, he's talking about us. Basically, people at the end of the day, you'll do a 4-hour show, talk about boxing for 3.5 hours or 3 hours and 45 minutes of the 4 hours. And as soon as you decide to tap into something for 3 minutes, it becomes, we talk more about, you know what I'm saying? We talk more about other channels than the boxing. I mean, that's just nonsense, right? Like, so I don't know how you feel about saying that, but it's just not true, right? So that's more feelings coming out. That's more, you know what I mean? That's more feelings coming out that make no sense, that have no real reality to it, right? It is what it is, right? 4 hours, 5 hours of boxing. Last night we sat there and talked about boxing for 5 hours. And people from all on the panel, and then you'll say that we're spending more time talking about it's just
not one channel brought up, and we didn't even bring the channel up. Someone else asked about it.
Just trying to shut. So what? I do that every day, Bradley. Okay.
Oh my God, okay. Bradley, you just trying to start somebody's whistle, bro.
I don't know. That's how he feels. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it.
Cool. All right. Much respect to you. Yeah, let's keep it.
It is what it is. Shout out to Roscott in the building. Says hopefully Usyk don't curl up like a weak crybaby from another illegal body shot. Listen, man, we're gonna talk about it, man. We're gonna talk about
same
it.
fight.
Yeah, it's a different fight, but at the same time, I'm gonna say that, and we're gonna talk about it, right? But there's gonna be adjustments made here. We know who Usyk is, but this Daniel Dubois is not going to be the same Daniel Dubois who fought Anthony Joshua. That's not going to beat Usyk. The Anthony Joshua who fought Philip Ergovich is not going to beat Usyk. The Daniel Dubois, I'm sorry, who fought Jarrell Big Baby Miller, not necessarily going to be the one who beats Usyk. What adjustments is he going to make? There's going to be some athleticism needed to cut that ring off with Alexander Usyk to apply that pressure. But at the same time, don't allow yourself to be outclassed in a boxing match, because that's what Usyk's looking to do, right? A different fighter with a different set of skills. We'll talk about all that, right? Roscott said, I got Usyk winning, but that body shot was legal. Yeah, it is what it is. It is what it is, man. So where do we want to start this conversation today about, man? What do you want to shout out to my brother Blue Blood Sports TV in the building? Salute, family. I've seen you in here. I don't see you right now, but I know I saw you in here. So there he is. Salute to Blue Blood Sports TV in the building, man. Salute, man. You know what I'm saying? Ray, Clay, and Blue have more content than the other channel. They really should be on it. They're above all of them, in my opinion. Hey, man, we talk about a lot of boxing, man. Don't let nobody fool you, man, into believing that we're sitting here hating on other channels or that's what we're doing. That's not true. But we're keeping it real. We are going to keep it real. You know what I mean? And that's something we're going to do, man. It is what it is, man. If it looks bad, if somebody thinks that that's all we do, then they're not watching the channel close enough. They're not watching it close enough. You know what I mean? Pay closer attention, man. Pay closer attention than that. You know what I mean? It is what it is.
You want to talk about this? Well, we got a lot of rematches this week, right? We got like 3 rematches this week. But let's talk about this Tszyu thing, man.
Wait. Before we do that, let's close off what happened last weekend. And let's close it off and let's address this hand wrap situation that I'm hearing about.
Oh, yes. Please, let's talk about that.
Right? Let's close it off so we can leave that alone and move on. So we know how the card went, and we saw Edgar Berlanga in so many words get exposed in so many ways. And we've always talked about Edgar Berlanga just not evolving completely to the boxer he could. When fighters are getting 16 first-round knockouts, 17 first-round knockouts, the boxing community likes to celebrate that because that's exciting to watch. But do they question enough the matchmaking that's happening to give somebody that kind of record, right? And when they get into these big shows against a Hamza Shiraz, somebody who was actually raised up fighting, in my opinion, more competitive fights on his journey to get to that point, a complete fighter, and you see a huge mismatch happen in the ring where there's levels to the game. You see Hamza Shiraz dominated Edgar Berlanga. Maybe naturally people want to start going into the conspiracy bag of, hold on, was that guy on something? Did you check his blood work? Did you check his pee? Did you check his hand wrap? Hold on a second, man. Did you check Edgar Berlanga's water? Did you check his trainers? Something had to happen, because there's no way in the world Hamza Shiraz would have dominated Edgar Berlanga the way he did without some sort of edge. So just like we saw with Terrence Crawford and after he fought Errol Spence, just like we've seen in a lot of fights, here we are 5 days from the fight, right? Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? 4 or 5 days from that fight. And what are we dealing with? Conspiracies. And what's the new conspiracy, guys? Well, the new conspiracy is that Hamza Shiraz hands were wrapped in a illegal way that gave him that edge, and that's the reason why he looked the way he did against Edgar Berlanga. How you feel about that?
Whack. First, here's a clear thing. First of all, you have to bring your trainer or somebody from your team have to be in there and watch them hands get wrapped. Number one. Number two, the athletic commission, and I believe somebody from one of the judges or somebody else from the authorities are sitting there as well, and they sign off on the hand wraps. So if you had a question or felt some type of way, that's up to your teammate that's sitting there to tell you, yo, these hand wraps ain't right, whatever the case may be, blah, 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 and then move forward with it. The fact that all this is coming out later and then they have a weird picture of them or whatever the case may be, it looked like it was at the end of the fight. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody was cutting them off, actually, if you look at the hand wraps. But I mean, I'm gonna go back and watch the video and watch when they start rapping them in the room anyway and see how that looks. But yeah, man, it's just another way to say that Turkey's cheating or to bring negative. And trust me, it ain't nothing to do with Hamza, Clay. I'm telling you for a fact, it's to move the needle towards Turkey al-Sheikh, His Excellency, and try to put that in the favor of him being a cheater and him costing people fights. That's all this is about, man. It's just whack.
Yeah. Bro, it's easy. It's simple. When it comes to this topic, it's very simple. The protocols are put there. Edgar Berlanga has his representation in that room when the hands are being wrapped of in this case, Hamza Shiraz, and vice versa. Hamza Shiraz has representation on his team inside of Edgar Berlanga's room when they're getting their hands wrapped. If that representation isn't catching the underhanded thing going on, that's on them. I'm not into it. I've never been into it as far as the idea of putting PEDs in somebody's system and they haven't popped on a test, or putting bad raps on their hands and they haven't been caught with the bad raps. What happened to Edgar Berlanga is he needs to go back to the drawing board. He needs to make adjustments. He needs to audit himself. He needs to see why there was such a huge level change in that game. Why was that guy seeming to dominate you so much, and revisit what he's been doing in his camp and his commitment to the sport. He needs to get better as a fighter. That's, as a boxing fan, we benefit off of him doing that and seeing that fight that way. We don't benefit, nor does Edgar Berlanga benefit off of making excuses about a loss against a Hamza Shiraz who outclassed him. The reality is Edgar Berlanga at this point in his career should not have been outclassed that way by a Hamza Shiraz who was coming up from 160 pounds to 168. He shouldn't have been. We're not throwing shots at Edgar Berlanga. We're just keeping it 100 that if you want to look at it for what it is, that's what it actually is, until evidence comes out to show otherwise. Him having pictures in his gloves and maybe not being able to move his pinky the way you think he should be able to move his pinky, or his thumb is not moving as freely as you feel like it should move. I don't know how you guys are reading these situations. It's unworthy of a conversation. It's unworthy of being entertained. It makes no sense. At the end of the day, he lost. He got knocked out inside of 5 rounds. He got hurt real bad inside of 4 rounds. That shouldn't have happened. He was the guy who fought Canelo Alvarez, who had 12 rounds in with Canelo Alvarez and had that experience. He should have been able to make that fight more competitive. Losing is one thing. Losing the way he did speaks to, are you ready?
Skill set.
Yeah, speaks to skill set. Exactly. I love it.
Yo, you know what's crazy too, Clay? Not to mention, didn't he just have some type of injury to his hand in his last fight?
Say it again.
He had an injury to his hand in his last fight, right?
Exactly.
So just bring that into the equation. It could have been something that they already got approved due to the fact, if it was something different, he got approved due to the injury. So come on, man, y'all just looking for excuses and reasons to again hate on another to support a brother.
Whatever it was, when it was all said and done, Hamza Shiraz was in compliance.
Exactly.
Just like Edgar Berlanga was in compliance, and that's it. You know, that's right next to the weight bully thing. Nonsense. Oh, he was really a heavyweight. Hey, brother, he made the weight like Edgar Berlanga was required to make the weight. He made the weight. He met all the requirements. He competed against Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga had no problem with it going into the fight. He said he was going to knock that guy out in the first round, right? So at the end of the fight, after all of that talk, after all of that buildup, don't take away and start making excuses for Edgar. Allow Edgar to get past this, get through this. He made a lot of money, I'm sure. Spend time with his family, revisit what he's got to do, make the improvements he needs to make, and may his next fight be his best fight, right? Shout out to Edgar Berlanga, shout out to Hamza Shiraz, and shout out to boxing, man. It's a good look. It's a good look, right? It is what it is. Let me see here. Above says whether his fingers weren't moving around the way we think they should is stupid. Yeah, it's just nonsense, especially at the end of it all. Watching him get knocked out. Come on, guys, stop it, bro. It is what it is. So we'll move forward from there, right? We'll move forward from there. Just wanted to kind of address that. I noticed that was rubbing the algorithm the wrong way. People are really entertaining this. And I don't know if they're not wasting their time doing it. So which fight card are we going to break down first? What fight do you want to get into first? You said the Tszyu Fundora fight. Is that what you wanted to do?
Yes. I got some key points on this card.
Do we want to get at Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios and get out of the way, being that it's not a fight?
I want to go. No, there's a reason why we can go into that, but there's a reason
Okay.
start with Tszyu.
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's do Tszyu.
Yeah, word. So as you were building here, right? I'm taking notes. I always take notes, and I'm listening. I'm like, yo, you know what's funny? When you said the name Tszyu and Fundora, I was like, hold on, wasn't that PBC Amazon's Prime first main event card? Wasn't 100%. That there? You know what I mean? Didn't that fight present something when it happened the first time? Wasn't it something that people were like, man, they were left with? That was a great fight, great card, whatever the case may be. And to only see that card took a back seat to Mario Barrios and Pacquiao. It actually got moved down on the card. Well, I don't even know if it's a second co-main. I just know that it's on the card, right? That's number 2. And to see how that fight has transpired, even with the rematch, I think a lot of people wanted that fight right away. I think they wanted to see that happen right away due to the fact that it was a controversial situations, right? And then they got all these people in the way. They got Earl Spence in the way. They got the WBA got in the way. Like a whole bunch of stuff transpired, and Tszyu then went on his journey and ended up getting knocked out instead of letting things develop at that point and giving that man his rematch right away, like you should have when he was ready, and you kept Fundora on the shelf for a whole year. So just to go to say, Clay, I think this is I would be, if I was Tszyu and Sebastian Fundora, very appalled to be on the backseat of a guy who just had a draw for his championship belt, and Manny Pacquiao, who came out of retirement after like 25 years, and I'm no longer the main event of this card. That's my point. I take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, I see where you're coming from, but I think at the same time, there's got to be some acknowledgement that the stock went down a little bit, right? Not only did Tszyu take that loss against Sebastian Fundora, but he also took a way worse loss when he got stopped by Bakram. There's questions as to whether or not he even had it anymore. And Sebastian Fundora just never has been able to translate into that pay-per-view star, right? Which is why, his options are limited, right? Sebastian Fundora is looking for that dance partner that is probably an A side. He's probably going to be a B side to most negotiations, Sebastian Fundora. His biggest accomplishment was beating Tszyu, in my opinion. That was his biggest accomplishment. His last fight was on a free card as well when he fought against Chordell Booker. These guys just aren't going to be the guy to sell a pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Right. Tszyu was on the road to having that happen. He was on the road to making a big fight. We remember prior to the Fundora fight happening that Tszyu was actually in negotiations with the likes of a Terrence Crawford to make a big fight. He was on a streak, a busy fighter, super active, one of the most active fighters in that year before. On his journey on becoming a champion, a WBO champion at the time. So, but he got derailed, right? It got derailed. And you know how I feel about it. I don't want to get too deep into it as far as how I feel. He was mismanaged. I think his handlers didn't handle his career properly, didn't protect his interests, I think, in the right way. I don't think he should have fought Sebastian Fundora. I thought that was a very aggressive last-minute change. I think there were other fighters that I think that fight was just a fight where Sebastian Fundora is worth a full camp. He's not a last-minute replacement kind of fighter. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, if you're going to throw Sebastian Fundora at me, I don't do that last minute. Not when I'm the champion, not when I'm the one who's the A side, when I'm the one holding the leverage. No, we're not going to do that. I'm not going to go from being prepared for Keith Thurman, which in its own right was happening, was last minute because he thought he was going to be fighting Terrence Crawford. I think he had like a 6-week preparation window for Keith Thurman. So he didn't even get a full camp for Keith Thurman, a 5'9", 5'10", 5'8", I don't know how tall he is, orthodox fighter, and then last minute switch it up to a southpaw, 6'5", 84 inch arm reach fighter in Sebastian Fundora. And then for him to get hurt the way he did in that fight, into the previous fight, inside of the second round, getting his head split by an elbow, which I'm not going to say was on purpose, but look, it's part of the game when you're fighting somebody that tall. His corner should have stopped the fight there and gave him an opportunity to be like, all right, we did everything we could. We try to make the fight happen. He's bleeding like a stuck pig. Let's not make him fight for 10 rounds, blood all in his eyes, making that fight happen between him and Sebastian Fundora. He didn't get handled correctly. And ultimately, props to Tszyu, because outside of him bleeding in his eyes that way, he was still lighting Fundora up in that fight. There was an argument at the end of that fight to say that he won the fight, right? There were people out there who's like, yo, man, he still won that fight.
For real.
So taking all that into consideration, Ray, moving forward and saying, all right, well, these guys get the redemption. He didn't get the respect he deserved in the beginning. They were trying to put Errol Spence in there, tied up Sebastian Fundora for almost a little over a year with a fight that never came to fruition with Errol Spence. And during that time, him trying to get back into the conversation, taking that crazy loss, Tszyu, against Bakram Murtazaliev, as he had the PTSD. We saw him checking for his head, thought his head was bleeding in the fight and wasn't even bleeding. You know, dealing with all of that. Getting that tune-up fight with Joey Spencer. We thought the fight was going to be between him and Keith Thurman. That's what I thought happened, being that Keith Thurman literally fought two weeks or a week before him in Australia, but that didn't happen. It is what it is. At the price of vacating a title, Sebastian Fundora finds himself in the ring with Tszyu. Tszyu gets an opportunity at redemption. What adjustments are we looking to see Tszyu make going into this fight for him to get what he needs? And what adjustments should Sebastian Fundora be looking to make in order to keep his WBO title? What do you think?
Well, first I would like to say, and I'm gonna go right into that. But I would like to say that I think it's hilarious that that Tim Fundora has been like the way he fought the way he did, and he moved the way he did, and took and lost the belt for a technicality, bro. Like a simple, stupid technicality. You could have just fought this guy back then and been fine with it, or not even moved the way you moved, you know what I mean, and got through it. But nope, you decided to let your people put you on that auction block and make you lose your belt when you lost some steam in the division. Now, moving forward to your question of what can be done differently, I think for Tszyu is he just has to use more feints, because I think the feints is what got him the overhand rights to land on that jaw and of Fundora and break his nose. I think that was very key and very led to a lot of success. I think the power and the frustration of Fundora was very real in that fight. The frustration of Fundora, but the power of Tszyu was really recognized in that fight by Fundora. Let's be correct on that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as Fundora, what he needs to do is he needs to fight him like he did Homeboy. You know what I mean? Like he did last fight. He needs to stay with the jab, utilize the jab, keep Tszyu outside the pocket. If he allows Tszyu to get inside that pocket, because he's not afraid to wishy-wash in there, to be a tough guy to get in there and hit you, it's going to be a long night. If you can keep Tszyu on the outside of your punches, we can see a whole different fight. That's a great adjustment that he would have made to this point of the fight, and we'll see a different fighter out of Fundora, which we'll see him keeping his title, because I think Tszyu didn't use a lot of head movement. He just used a lot of feints, step, you know what I mean? And they came with the overhand, and that caused a lot of problems for Sebastian Fundora. So, you know, they both have their little tweaks to make, but not too much for Tszyu.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this, man. Tszyu does have some adjustments to make. I don't know. I'm expecting another Sebastian Fundora in this ring in comparison to the Fundora who fought Tszyu the first time, right? We see Fundora getting more comfortable doing, like you said, in his last fight with Chordell Booker, standing behind that jab, working and controlling that distance. And with Chordell Booker, you dealt with a fighter who was more so trying to escape Fundora a little bit, wasn't necessarily crossing that void, wasn't putting in the effort I thought he needed to put in order to make that fight a close range fight, to where he could attack that body of Fundora and get some opportunities to land some significant shots to Sebastian Fundora. In this fight with Tszyu, I think we'll find that Tszyu is probably going to do a better job, clearly, than Chordell Booker did of clearing that void. But at the same time, I'm also interested in seeing that Tszyu has gotten over the injury that he suffered. The idea of it, the mental psychology, you know, the psychological weight of that injury and what he went through. He's got to keep his eye. Obviously, he's going to be keeping his eye on Sebastian Fundora's defense, where his arms are. You know, that one thing about Sebastian Fundora is he operates with that high guard at times. But what happens, though, is being as tall as he is, where do those elbows end up? For somebody like Tszyu, it ends up right on the same plane as his head, right? So he has to pay attention to the way he enters, that he closes that space, right? He has to pay attention to the way he closes that gap, closes that space to make it mid-range. But at the same time, I don't want to see him abandon it, right? Because sometimes we saw Amanda Serrano against Katie Taylor this weekend, and it looks like Amanda Serrano was abandoning, you know what I mean, that success she had against Katie Taylor in that last fight. She abandoned it completely, and the fight ended up turning out to be a dud. It wasn't competitive. Katie Taylor was obviously able to outbox her, control the distance very easily. We saw Amanda Serrano doing a lot of shadow boxing, throwing combinations in the air. Maybe she was trying to entice Katie Taylor to come forward and catch her coming forward, and it just wasn't a good look for her. Tszyu he had a lot of success in that fight against Sebastian Fundora, but there was risk taken in getting that success. I don't want to see Tszyu make this too much of a boxing match, but I do want to see him being a little bit more defensively responsible, because those elbows will still be there.
Yes.
Tucking your head in, coming in, bulldozing, coming in like a Usyk Cruz, you know, puts the top of that head back in the crosshairs of something bad happening, and probably more susceptible to getting injury. When you get a split as deep as he had, that scar tissue is still there. It could split open, right? Pretty damn easy. So we're looking to see what Tszyu's going to do, and I'm looking to see the adjustments he makes to not throw away that aggression, but at the same time, how is he going to defend the top of his head against Sebastian Fundora? Sebastian Fundora, like you stated earlier, we're going to watch to see him evolve into that tall fighter, long arm, long reach having fighter. Seems like he always fought short. He always fought as if he's not tall. And now we see Gabrielle Fondura operating behind that jab, and we're seeing Sebastian Fundora operate behind that jab as well. We're going to see how committed he can be to that, because I do believe that Tszyu can drag him into a fight. Sebastian Fundora loves a fight. Boxing is something that, you know, the physical attributes he has makes him have advantages in the boxing category, but for some reason, most of the time, he ends up throwing that boxing to the side and jumps into the fight. He likes that fight. He likes to do what we saw Hamza Shiraz do to Edgar Berlanga. I'm sure he'll try to do that with Tszyu. That being said, who do you favor in the fight?
Tszyu.
You're favoring Tszyu, and how do you?
I'm favoring Tszyu because I believe his feints and the fear of his power, which he already experienced on the other end of Sebastian Fundora. Him being that he experienced that is going to make him shell up a little bit. I think that he will try to use the jab. I think the jab did work a little bit in that fight, but I think he's going to pull back, and we're going to see. I think he's going to be reluctant to throw the brigade out. You know what I mean? To hit him with some rights, lefts, uppercuts, and jabs. You know what I mean? I think Tszyu comes in a little bit more ambitious to get his titles back. This is his revenge fight, so I think that says a lot. I think he steps on him, man.
I'm not there. I'll give it 50-50 because I don't know how that intangible, the top of his head and that PTSD, I don't know how he's going to react to it. I just don't know. It depends on how he reacts to it. Also, I think Sebastian Fundora is a better fighter now than he was then, but I'll disagree and push back a little bit to the idea that Sebastian Fundora may hold some reservation about getting hit. Sebastian Fundora is not somebody who's ever cared about getting punched on. He gets hit. And he weathers it. You know, outside of what happened between him and Brian Mendoza, you know, he's ultimately always been able to weather the storm of these punchers. He took a lot of shots at Tszyu, so I think there's an argument there to say that he's not scared of Tszyu's power. His nose broke, yes, but you know, for the most part, he still stayed focused and committed to pressing that fight against Tszyu, even after he got punched in his nose and he had all that blood gushing out his nose. And look, at the end of it, he walked away with a victory and walked away a champion. So he should be confident in who he is and what he brings. If anything, favoring himself in that fight. I don't expect him to make no crazy changes. I think it's possible to see a fight if Tszyu stays too reserved and doesn't cross that void and doesn't continue to press Sebastian Fundora the way he did in that first fight. I could see this fight going very similar to the way that Hamza Shiraz and Edgar Berlanga went. You know what I'm saying? Because I think if you allow Fundora to get his rhythm and let his hands go and control that range, and you allow him to punch you at the end of his punches, you allow him to control that distance, I think you're dealing with a headhunter, a sniper in Sebastian Fundora potentially. And I think we can potentially see Tszyu get clipped. I also don't think Tszyu has fought the fights that he needs to fight since he lost against Sebastian Fundora to get him ready for a Sebastian Fundora, right? He fought against Bakram, and we saw him get exposed against Bakram. Didn't fight Bakram the right way at all. Looked like he tried to step over his fears and completely throw to the wayside what he had just went through with Sebastian Fundora. He ended up getting clipped. Against Joey Spencer, that fight doesn't get him ready for Sebastian Fundora. That was an easy fight. That was just a stroke to his ego potentially. So mentally, where is Tszyu on this fight? This fight to me, 50-50. As I'm speaking about it, I might even lean it 55-45, maybe even 60-40 towards Sebastian Fundora. I think Tszyu is looking to get out of the division. I think he's looking at 160 right now. He's already talked about how making the weight is getting difficult. I've heard him in interviews speak about how 160 is going to be a sooner rather than later transition. And when you hear fighters talk like that, sometimes, they move a little bit differently. You know what I mean? In the division that they are, when they're anticipating, kind of embracing an excuse already about where he wants to go. I think Tszyu going to get stopped in this fight. I think he's going to get stopped. I think Tszyu going to get stopped.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to say 60-40, 55, 60-40. I think Tszyu gets stopped. But I think
Tszyu drops Fundora.
That could happen as well.
I think Fundora still has PTSD as well. That's the problem. Because you know what? He was getting clipped, bro. He's going to realize that this is the guy that sat him down for a year almost. He's going to understand that. Over a year, matter of fact. He's going to understand that this is the guy that he was using the jab, hitting him with everything, busted his head open. This guy still came forward. So he's going to have to understand what he needs to do much, much better. I don't think he does. I think what we're going to have is more of a Tszyu with a vengeance, bro. He's going to come in here with a vengeance. And I think that vengeance is going to spark that fire. He's going to finish from round 13. And I think he stops Fundora, Sebastian Fundora, in like the 7th round.
Right.
Coach Eddie agrees, by the way.
But let me ask you this as well. Do you think it's possible that Tszyu's chin been cracked? Do you think he has his own double the PTSD, the injury that he had with Sebastian Fundora and the beating he took from Sebastian from Bakram Murtazaliev? How will he react to getting punched on aggressively by Sebastian Fundora?
Yeah, and that's a different story. You know what I mean? That's a different story. Now Sebastian comes out there and he like I said, he uses that jab, keeps him at the end of that jab. Mm-hmm. Frustration happens. Now you're going to have a different Tszyu, and Tszyu's going to be on the back foot trying to box as opposed to coming forward, and then he loses that fight easily by a knockout or a stoppage because he's going to lose the will to go. And I should have said this the last fight, lose the will instead of saying quit in the ring. You know what I mean? We're going to use that word, lose the will to go forward. He's going to lose the will to continue to bring his hands up and continue to fight. So that can easily be the case. But I just like the fact that this guy feels that he was cheated. He felt that he didn't lose his belt in the ring. He felt that, they chose to give this guy the opportunity to be the champion over him, and they took his belt. And he took the opportunity for him to be a unified champion. So I think there's a lot of frustration there, and I think he's going to capitalize this time. I believe no matter what you say, what you do, this guy is like, this Fundora took my shine. And he took a lot of opportunities away from me, and I'm not happy with it. And I think that's what you're going to see from Tszyu. I think that redemption tour, man, he's definitely coming out here to bust this dude up.
I love it. Yo, shout out. We got 46, 47 people. I don't know how many people we got in the building right there. Let's make sure that we're hitting that like button as we come in here. Appreciate you, and I thank you in advance. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, take an opportunity to go ahead and do that as well. So let's go ahead and move down the line. Here, we talked about that. Let's talk about the main event a little bit here. Mario Barrios versus Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao, I don't know how many year hiatus, 4 years or something. I don't know how many years hiatus it's been. Well, let's see. What was Manny Pacquiao's last fight?
Manny Pacquiao has enforced that Asian guy 2 years ago.
Well, that fight don't even count, man.
That don't count, right? So before that, I think his last fight was Ugas, right?
Right, Ugas.
2021. Was what, 21?
Yeah.
2021? Yeah.
Right. 2021. So what we're looking at here is a 4-year hiatus on a professional level that Manny Pacquiao has fought. The living legend that he is, Hall of Famer, international Hall of Famer that he is, gets that privilege, gets that benefit of the doubt, gets the WBC to sanction a fight to where he's going to challenge Mario Barrios, a current welterweight WBC champion. Like it or not like it, this is the fight that's on the table. It's in front of us, and we're going to talk about it. So Manny Pacquiao, we remember him. If we don't have too much of reference of him, we have a loss that he took against Yordenis Ugas, and of course, we have his legendary status of who we knew him to be. We remember him against Keith Thurman, right? In a fight where he competed with Keith Thurman on an athletic level back in 2019, and he was able to keep up with Keith Thurman and beat Keith Thurman, put Keith Thurman on his pockets early in that fight. I believe it was in round 1, just started that fight and surprised Keith Thurman, who probably looked at a 40-year-old, I guess at the time, Manny Pacquiao, and slept a little bit on him, right? It was like, damn, I didn't know the old head had it like that, right? The athleticism was still there, the legs were still there, and Keith had to put his big boy pants on, fight Manny Pacquiao for 11 rounds, and at the end of it, the judges saw it Manny Pacquiao's way, and he ended up getting the title, but lost it to Yordenis Ugas. And it wasn't a one-sided ass whooping. I believe the scorecards was 113-115, 112-116, and 112-116. It was a unanimous decision for Yordenis Ugas. But Manny Pacquiao was in the fight. Manny says he's back, Ray. Says he feels great. Says the hiatus did him well. Body had time to heal. Didn't suffer the wear and tear the way people think he did. And that the athleticism is still there. The passion is still there. The love for the sport is still there. There are arguments there to say that he picked the right fighter in Mario Barrios, who arguably maybe the weakest link as far as champions are concerned in the welterweight division. He's got a fighter in front of him in Mario Barrios, whose last fight was against Abel Ramos, ran it to a draw. Mario Barrios has looked pedestrian in his last few fights. Looked regular, right? But a fundamentally sound fighter. Knows how to stand behind that jab, knows how to use his head movement to a certain degree, but has also been known to take a lot of punishment, take a lot of shots. Manny Pacquiao, Mario Barrios. Let me know your thoughts on it.
All right. Number one, I'm going to say that I think Barrios cherry-picked this fight. He knew he was up against, as opposed to the division, and he knew he wanted to make a bag. Why? Because I think in his own mindset, I think he doesn't believe that he's going to be champion for long. I think he feels an income into that belt reign, championship defenses and things of that nature, because he's just not that guy. Maybe he feels he has to move up in the division, because he looks like he's already over 147. He's probably 154 fighter now. But not to mention, let's take it down from how I'll break that down for Mario Barrios. Mario Barrios has to utilize a jab, and he has to be quicker than Pacquiao. I'm pretty sure Pacquiao took a few steps back in his speed and things of that nature, but how much did he take back? You know what I mean, how much down of a downgrade is Manny Pacquiao from what we seen 4 years ago? I don't know. But I do know that Barrios is going to be there to be hit, and that's the problem with Barrios. He starts off well, but then I don't know if he gets flat-footed, he gets lazy, he gets overconfident, whatever the case may be. He shuts down after like the 4th round, and he starts getting hit more than he should be. On the other end of that spectrum, and the positive part for Manny Pacquiao, I would say that Manny Pacquiao is an active fighter, and I don't mean he's active as he's been active. He's constantly shifty. He's very elusive, very slick, and he punches from angles. He can catch you on different spots if you're not on your spot, and Manny Pacquiao can sit you down very easily. I think with the layoff, if he feels that has helped him and that has moved him into a different atmosphere as a boxer, being 46 years old now, then so be it. But Pacquiao has a lot to prove to himself, not to us, because Father Time has never lost a battle. But this is crazy that he's going to be in a ring with somebody that's literally half his age, if not 20 years younger than him, and has an opportunity to be a champion. And I think that incites him, and I think that gives him more of the push to go in there, because he sees the flaws in Barrios, and he knows he's going to get hit. But what is he going to get hit with? So that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. Thank you for the correction, guys. I was 46, 47. Sorry, but it is what it is. I'm close. I'm just saying it off the top of the dome, so pause. But that's all. We good. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, I think that's what we're going to get, Clay. I think we're going to have an exciting fight. I think it can go either way. I do lean towards Pac-Man a little bit, because I think that the shiftiness and the footwork is going to be too much for Barrios. after Barrios comes off and just shows that he's one-dimensional.
Yeah, man. Listen, man. Manny Pacquiao 5+ years ago, we wouldn't even having this conversation. We would have been favoring Manny Pacquiao, right? The Manny Pacquiao who fought Keith Thurman will give Mario Barrios fits, right? But we got to acknowledge it. Like you said, Father Time is undefeated, man. How much athleticism is left in the legs of Manny Pacquiao? He looks good in his training videos, right? We see him and we're like, oh man, that was the Manny we remember a little bit back in there. He's giving us a little flashbacks. But Mike Tyson looked good punching the bag, running mitt drills, and got in the ring with Jake Paul, and we were like, yeah, that's an old man, right? So Manny in there with a fighter like Mario Barrios, who does have youth on his side, his ability to use his legs is going to make a big difference in this fight. So look, Mario Barrios is there to be taken advantage of by an athletic, high IQ, good foot movement fighter. He's there to be taken advantage of, and he's there to be hit. He's not going to run. He's not going to get in his bicycle. His lateral movement at times is non-existent to me. You know what I mean? He stays behind that jab. Manny Pacquiao has been known to have good head movement, get his head off that line, hit from angles, and not get hit. So I could see him winning rounds. How will Manny Pacquiao look in the championship rounds in this fight? How will Manny Pacquiao capitalize and make sure that his counterpunching is top level? He hasn't even had a tune-up fight on the return, on his return to grace, right? He hasn't even had a tune-up fight. So we really just got to see who he's going to be in this fight. And because of that intangible, this is close to 50-50 fight as you can get, damn near, because I don't know who Manny Pacquiao is going to be. And also, what percentage of return does Manny Pacquiao need to be at in order to beat Mario Barrios? Well, Manny Pacquiao, by no measure, I think needs to be 100% of his best version of himself to be Mario Barrios. But how much of himself does he need to be in order to beat Mario Barrios? Is it 90%, 85%? Can he beat Mario Barrios at 60%? What's the level that Manny Pacquiao has to be at? Obviously, the best version of himself presently is what he wants to come into the ring with. Did Manny Pacquiao live a lifestyle of a fighter? I don't know. I don't remember too much personally about Manny Pacquiao. It didn't really show me to be somebody who partied too much or drank too much. He was in politics. He's always been somebody who's been concerned with his brand and how he looks, always carried himself accordingly. So that's going to make a difference as well. I think Mario Barrios can definitely lose this fight. I think Mario Barrios can lose this fight in a way very similar to almost how, dare I compare it? I know people are going to say, oh, you're crazy. But I'm looking at a Gervonta Tank Davis, Mario Barrios fight.
Yep.
And noticing how Mario Barrios had a difficult time dealing with the athleticism of Gervonta. But at the same time, remembering that Mario Barrios had success against Gervonta Tank Davis, the smaller fighter. He did until he didn't, right? Some people might say he let that fight slip through his fingers. It's going to be interesting fight to watch if you watch for the intangibles. If you look at that, then the fight becomes interesting. I'm favoring. It's 50-50 to me. I'm favoring Mario Barrios to win this fight.
Cool.
I think he closed it out.
I'm 50-50, and I'm going the other way.
With Manny, right?
I just think Barrios gets hit too much flush, and I think if you watch the fighters he just recently fought, yes, they're younger and more in their prime fighters, and maybe closer in size to Mario Barrios. But Barrios fights down in levels. Like he doesn't stay tall all the time. Hence why he got knocked out. Hence why he nearly lost to Abel Ramos. Like he just is not that guy, bro. I think Pacquiao catches him with some quick hands. I think his hands are still faster than Barrios' hands and where he can move and what Barrios can move from. And I just think if he gets inside, it's a wrap.
Yeah. Man, I don't know, man. Echo's going with Pac. He's going with the legend. You're going with Pacquiao as well. I need to know his ability to it's a 50-50 fight. So I 100% won't be shocked if Pacquiao wins it, but I just think Father Time is on the table right now. And not only that, combine Father Time with 4 years of inactivity. I'll tell you this, if Mario Barrios loses this fight, he might want to entertain retirement and don't even play around with it. Just time to go, Mario.
You're going to move up to 154, bro. Campaign. He'll be better at 154. I think he'll be better because the guys are a little bit slower up there. I'm not saying they're much, they're not fast, like quick fighters. They ain't got hands, but I think it sets Mario Barrios where he should be. The guy's 6 foot tall, man. 6'1". He's
Right. Shout out to Literary Fiero in the building. Yeah, I don't know why they timed you out, but I'll put you as a moderator so they can't time you out anymore. I wasn't aware that you were timed out. Listen, bro, one of these wrenches ain't like what you said, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So they got you out of there, but I put that wrench on you, so you should be good, man. Maybe sometimes what happens to Literary Fiero, sometimes they're trying to time somebody out and they time you out by accident. I've done it where you think you highlighted a person and the screen shifts up because somebody puts a message and you end up timing out the guy beneath them. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't take it personal. I don't think anybody would time you out. I never really seen you say anything crazy. Things happen, but you're good now. You're protected. You have the covering. You have the ability to be protected from that. So glad to see you in the building. By the way, salute to you, man. Salute to you. All right, yeah. So listen, man, 50-50. We got Echo. I almost feel like putting a little
poll. Put a poll. Pause on the poll thing, because every time I say poll, I get a pause from frequent flyer frequency. So put a chart up and allow people to vote. There you go. But yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people saying Barrios because he's the current fighter, man. But I'm telling you, experience over youth, man. That's what it comes down to.
Wins. All I'm saying. Manny. I mean,
look at the champion, and my whole thing is look at the championship fights. Look at the battles Pacquiao been in, bro, like over his career. And that says a lot. And I think that's what's going to be the turn of the table, bro. That's going to be it. Yeah.
There's a poll in there, guys. Feel free to hit that poll. I'm interested in what you guys think in this particular fight. Is this because obviously the story behind this fight is that Manny Pacquiao should not be back in boxing. This is a travesty for boxing, and we know what also that Mario Barrios' reluctancy to engage in unification conversations and unification fights, and we know the division's being held up to a certain degree. People are a little upset at this fight getting put together, but at the end of the day, is Manny Pacquiao game in here, man? Is he game, and can we see him go ahead and upset? What are the odds, by the way? I don't know if you know, like what the odds are. Like,
probably favorite or probably favorite for Barrios.
That's what I would think. Right? Shout out to Raider Transplant Angelo in the building, man. You guys might remember him as Reyes Boxing in the building, man. Real great, full of knowledge. Was on the panel last night, man, and really just made the conversation interesting. I love the scholarship that he brought to the space. He says here, Pacquiao versus Barrios, very interesting. Think about this: Pacquiao beat Thurman, Thurman beat Barrios, who beat Ugas, and Ugas beat Pacquiao. Anything can happen regardless of Pacquiao's age. 100%, man. That's a fact, man. And it's kind of crazy to even make this a 50-50 fight because it's really throwing shots at Mario Barrios because this shouldn't be a 50-50 fight. As a champion and somebody who hasn't fought in 4 years coming in at the age of Manny Pacquiao, it's insulting. It's telling to even have Manny Pacquiao in this fight as a dog, as a live dog in this fight. He shouldn't be a live dog because I'll tell you this: if he was fighting Mario Barrios, I wouldn't even be thinking about Manny winning this. You know what I'm saying? Not Mario Barrios. If he was fighting Brian Norman, I wouldn't even think about it. If he was fighting Jerome Boots Ennis, I wouldn't even think about it, right? Certain fights, I wouldn't even give this Manny Pacquiao a chance. But Mario Barrios is game, man. It is what it is. Raider Transplant Angelo has it up in there and says that current odds has Manny Pacquiao as a plus 200 underdog.
Oh, I got 210. Interesting, currently 210.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There you go. You put it up there too as well. Okay. Let's see what happens, right? So let's go to the next fight as we're going down the list of fights on this card here. Another fight that hold on a second, let me back it up a little bit here. Let's go back one. Another fight on here is going to be a rematch, fight of the year candidate, an exciting fight between Usyk Cruz and Angel Fiero. You remember that fight?
Come on, man. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Where was this fight at last time? It was basically it was what card was it?
It was on the same card as Fundora and what's the name, wasn't it?
Let's see here. I think it
wasn't that the same card as Keith Thurman?
No, it was a David Benavidez, David Morrell card.
Okay.
And I remember that card because I remember that card. Remember, because Usyk was supposed to fight Rayo, and that's when we kind of realized, like, okay, the PBC ain't effing with Rayo, and they took that fight away from Rayo and put him in front of Gary Antoine Russell, which was diabolical on another card, and we saw what happened to Rayo. But Usyk fought Angel Fiero. Usyk Cruz always delivers, right? He's one of those fighters that, you can say he's must-see boxing. You don't see him becoming a unified champion or being that big of a deal, but you give him the right dance partner, he's going to show up every single time. Angel Fiero ran it with Usyk Cruz and made that probably the fight on that card damn near. Outside, considering that David Benavidez and David Morrell fought on that card, Usyk Cruz versus Angel Fiero really fit the bill to the point to where they're giving these guys a rematch. I don't know if it needed a rematch, but I can see why they made the rematch just based off the entertainment. Where are you at on this fight?
Oh, man. I'm going to go with Pitbull. I still think he has a lot to offer. I think he's going to see I think he always works harder. Doesn't matter how he has a sense of improvement, and he seems like he's always making strides to improve, even though he throws the same punches. As a matter of fact, that fight he threw jabs, if I'm not mistaken. Did he throw jabs and everybody was laughing in the fight in the commentary?
Like, I mean, he tried to, but he went back to doing what he does.
Right. But I think he works on his speed. He works on getting inside. And he works on capitalizing on his craft, man, which is knocking people out. And I think he finds a chin here this time. And I think he knocks out Angel Fiero.
Listen, Angel Fiero showed a lot of things in that fight, man. First of all, he ran it with Usyk Cruz in a way that we just love to watch. That when you talk about Mexican style fighting, man, those guys just represented that in that fight, and it was just entertaining to watch. Reminded you of what reminded you how much you appreciate the Mexican style boxing. It's hard to fall asleep in a fight like that. You might have been tired, but that fight's gonna wake you up, bro. Right? That fight was just there. Those guys at points in that fight abandoned any type of defense at times. You know what I'm saying? That they were just letting their hands go. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think it's 50-50 because both these guys, reckless abandonment, both these guys put it on the line, man. They let their hands go.
They went at it with each other, bro.
Right. And there's a reason why they put the fight together, because it was so close to a 50-50 fight to where you could have went either way with it. Usyk Cruz won that fight, but at the end of that fight, a lot of people felt like Angel Fiero won that fight. You know what I mean? So these guys don't look like they're going to make no crazy adjustments. They are who they are. They love the sound of the crowd cheering their names and celebrating them. Both those guys walked out of that ring very happy and excited with their performance. Although Angel Fiero walked away with the loss, he didn't walk away feeling robbed. They like entertaining. They like showing out in front of the crowd, and I think that's what they're going to do. Who's going to make the adjustments, though? Who's going to step up and make the adjustments to get that edge? They both have, 10 or 12 rounds experience with each other? Was that a 12-round fight last time, or was it a 10-round? So it was a 10-round fighter last time. Fight. This one's going to be a 12-rounder, right? I think they've earned a 12-rounder. The winner of this fight is going to be in some interesting conversations. In the is it was that a 140 fight or 130? It was a 140 fight.
Yeah, I was gonna say 140. They ain't bring him down yet. He's supposed to go back to 135, but he ain't moved down yet.
Yeah, Angel Fiero came up to 140, I believe, for this fight. I believe Angel Fiero was fighting at 135 prior to this. Yeah, well, no, he had 140 fight.
Yeah, he moved up.
He moved up pretty much, right? So, two 140 fights, right?
But what I like about Angel Fiero was, like you said, the grit, and this is where I think he gets in trouble. Because of his style, because of the flat-footed, put my head down, I'm just going to bang and punch between your punches. I think Pitbull was reluctant to see that last time. I think he was. You got to remember, he fought two different boxers back to back. So he fought a guy that was off the back foot that he had to chase, and then he had fought a guy that stood right in front of him that was able to go toe to toe. So this time he's fighting the same guy. And he's going to go toe-to-toe with him. And he knows what he's going to do. Now, hopefully, Angel Fiero changes it up a little bit, and he does something different. Maybe he does go off the back foot. Maybe he does get a little bit more slick and makes Pitbull walk into some counters. And that's a whole different story. But as far as I know, I think Pitbull is going to do the opposite. I think Pitbull always comes forward. He's the same guy every fight. Only thing he changes is maybe his output and what's coming back his way, how to get out the way of it. That's it.
No doubt, no doubt. Yeah, man, the adjustments are there to be made. The guy who makes the adjustment is going to be the guy who walks away with this. That last fight damn near went to a draw. They gave it to Pitbull. They gave it to wait, hold on. Did they give it? They gave it to Pitbull, right?
Yeah.
It was a draw, right?
Yeah, it was a questionable decision. Yeah, he got Pitbull won.
Okay. Yeah. Unanimous decision, actually.
Everybody was questioning it. I thought he lost that fight. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, so did I. I thought it was a good. It was close enough to. I won't go into the robbery conversation with it, but I think at the end of the fight, before we heard the decision from the judges, we kind of thought Angel Fiero would have got the head nod, but he didn't. So yeah, good fight, man. It is what it is, man. Good fight. You know what I mean? Good fight. I think there's one more fight on that card that I want to talk about, possibly two more. Hold on. Hold on a second. Because I know Gary Russell Jr. is making his return to the ring that night. I mean, we got Brandon Figueroa, who's going to be fighting against Joet Gonzalez. Is that fight going to be at 130? What is that fight going to be at? Because Joet Gonzalez is a small fighter. Where's that fight?
At 130, wasn't he?
Well, I mean,
I think that fight's at 135, Clay.
Is it? Is he going up?
I don't know. I have to look it up. My bad. I'm not
well,
there yet.
He fought Stephen Fulton at 126, and he came up from 122. Where is this fight going to be at? I would expect this fight to be around 126, maybe 130. Maybe it is going to be at 130. What is Joet Gonzalez fighting at? What was his last fight at? Let's see here.
130.
Joet Gonzalez fought at 130 his last fight?
I believe so, yeah.
Well, yeah, he fought at a catch weight. He was 127 and a half. I don't know. It's a 12-round fight, man. This might be a 126 fight for him again. I don't know. This is going to be a good fight. This is going to be a decent little fight right here. We saw Brandon Figueroa in his last fight against Stephen Fulton. Stephen Fulton was able to outdog the fighter. Brandon Figueroa kind of abandoned his jab, abandoned boxing a little bit, and just got dragged into a fight that just left him exposed to a savvy, slick fighter in Stephen Fulton, who really fought on the inside the whole fight and was able to dominate Brandon Figueroa. This fight right here against Joet Gonzalez, who also likes to fight, kind of a Mexican style fighter, but also brings that pedigree. You know what I mean? He brings that movement. He's athletic. Where you got this fight going?
This one is a tricky one. I'm going to start off by saying this. Joet Gonzalez is a very good fighter. He's an inside fighter. Like, he likes to fight on toe-to-toe with you right in the phone booth. I think the issue is we're going to see here is that Brandon Figueroa is going to be facing a lot of adversity in this fight. He just came off a loss. He has to fight somebody in a similar fashion that he's not used to. Well, he's used to fighting because he usually knocks these guys out, which I do believe he gets this win. The problem I have is how's his weight transferring going to be? I think he should be at 135 right now. I think he's wasting his time at 130. I think once he lost that fight, we've seen that he didn't belong there. And I think he's just trying to redeem himself or get back into title contention before he moves up, especially with the fact that Stephen Fulton's planning on fighting Shockey Foster. That, from what we're hearing, tells him that belt may be available for him to go back and get it. So why would I go up there and chase the guy that just beat me not once but twice, and I could just stay here and I could just reclaim my title, and then I could fight everybody as I need and just force myself to make the weight? I think that's diabolical. I think he will win this fight, and I think he'll put himself in the category of fight for the WBC or another title. Maybe a Lamont Roach title if he decides to stay up there, whatever the case may be. But he's definitely going to beat Joet Gonzalez. I think Joet Gonzalez get hit too much, and I think a guy like Fundora, almost said Sebastian Fundora, but Brandon Figueroa utilizes his height very well when he fights. I think he's going to take advantage of this fight, and I think it's going to be something to capture. Unless the weight plays a part. That weight drain plays a part, he's done. He's toast. But other than that, I think he wins. Yeah, like you said, tricky fight. 50-50 to me. I don't know what Brandon Figueroa we're going to see in there. Brandon Figueroa can turn it up. We know he looks good when he looks good, but then, he gets in front of those right fighters. He looks bad. Really just Stephen Fulton. Yeah, I think Brandon Figueroa wins this fight. I think Joet Gonzalez is on his last leg, trying to do his last thing, trying to make a run at doing something significant in the sport. Just think he's on his way out, and I think he's going to be there in front of Brandon Figueroa. I think Brandon Figueroa does this. I think it's a tune-up fight for him, get him back in a conversation fight, and I just see him winning this fight, man. Right? We got the return of Gary Antoine Russell.
of Gary Allen Russell, Jr. Returning after I don't know how much of a hiatus. How long has it been since Gary Russell's been in the ring, man? Since before his father, right? Since before his father passed away.
I think it was like 21.
Let's see here.
2022.
2022?
Yep.
Right. That was against Pacquiao. That's right.
Yep.
A fight that he hurt himself. He had an injury in that hand with one arm and was able to still arguably win that fight. A lot of people thought that Gary won that fight. I think I did too. Watching that fight, I feel like Gary won that fight. Man, this guy right here, if you don't know about him, then you're under a rock. This guy was one of those guys, right? This guy is pretty much the guy who welcomed, in my opinion, Vasily Lomachenko into the boxing space, into who we know Vasily Lomachenko to be, one of Vasily Lomachenko's most significant wins. Would you agree?
Yep.
Right? Because Gary was that guy prior to Vasily Lomachenko getting in the ring with him. Gary was that guy, you know what I mean? One of the longest defending champions, I think, at one point in time, at that 126 division, or was it 122 or 126? 126, right? A WBC champion, right? And you know, he had to take a step back away from the sport for a minute on the you know, the back end of his father passing away suddenly, having to lead his family, his brothers. We know about Gary Antoine. We know about all the Gary Antonio and all the Gary Russells that are up there. They all fight, and he had to lead them for a bit and take the back seat and become a trainer and put his career to the back seat and put his brother's career ahead of his own. Well, look, he's got some time for himself now. He got Gary and Antoine Russell to become a WBA champion. He has Gary Antonio, I think, getting ready to. I think he might be on this card as well. I think Gary Antonio might be on this card.
I was looking for it.
I think he might be on this card, man. Hold on, let me just make sure I'm not crazy. Is he on this? Oh, he might not be on this one. He's not on this card.
I don't think he's on this card. I think his fight got pushed back.
On Pro Box or something, right? He's getting ready to fight, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Listen, man. What do you think about his return, man? You think he's back at it? You think he's talented enough to make it happen? He'll be getting in ring with Hugo Alberto Castaneda, Marquand. This guy coming in with 15 wins, 11 knockouts, 2 losses, 1 loss by knockout. Lost his last fight by technical knockout against a Demier Zamora, undefeated fighter. I think this fight is also going to be at 130, if I'm correct.
130.
Right. So Gary gets right into conversations with the Raymond Fords, with the Stephen Fultons, with the Oshaki Fosters, with the Emmanuel Navarates. Does this fight right here get him back into that conversation? What do you think about his return?
Yeah, let me see here. I think I'm debating to see if he campaigns at 130. I'm thinking he's actually just taking a fight, accustom himself to 135. I think he may take a fight or two. If he could find himself getting a championship belt there, he can make the weight and defend it. He has no problem doing that. Then let him do so. As far as him fully campaigning there, I think he's looking for the big fights. He's been calling out the big fights for some time. He wanted to fight Shakur. He's been wanting to fight Trevante. So what better place? Maybe he stays at 130 since Tank likes to call up 130 pounders. That might be a fight for him, right? That's a historic fight. That's a big fight for Tank. They can make it happen under the same umbrella. That might be easy to do. That's another thing. He might be getting in the way of that. But at the same time, I think Gary does well. I think Gary's always been a gamer. I think this is a great opponent for him. I think we got the same opponent that Berlanga fought before he left a match room over there, and he gets a grimace. I'm not saying this guy's grimace, but I think this might be a guy that's capable of hurting him or capable of beating him, but he's just not in his class. I mean, the difference between a world-class fighter and a good fighter or a great fighter. I think Gary is just too world-class for this Hugo, and I think he takes this guy out. I think he might even stop him, man. He might put him down.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I don't know how to call it. I'm going to go with Gary Russell because, listen, he's been active without being active. In other words, he's been training his brothers. He's been in the gym. He owns a gym, Enigma Gym in D.C. He's been running. I remember when I did an interview with him earlier before the interview when I talked to him on the phone on FaceTime. He was running, right? He hit me. He answered his phone on FaceTime. He's like running he's like running, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think he's running, like he said, he runs like 3 to 5 miles every single day still, right? He gets up and he does that. So he's been actively staying in shape and getting ready. And in that interview I did with him, he spoke about how he was going to make his return. He planned on making his return, and he's been staying in boxing shape all these years. So yeah, 3.5 years outside of the ring, but as a fighter, but in the business, actively training in the gym, sparring in the gym, training his brothers. I think he should have some fresh legs under him. He might even benefit from the hiatus he took from the sport. At 37 years old, he's not 48, right? He's not, I see Raider Transplant said this is the same thing as a Manny Pacquiao. I got to push back at that. I don't think this is the same thing as Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao, that age is wearing and tearing on him. I think we do have an inactive fighter. We do have an inactive fighter in Gary Russell Jr., but Gary Russell Jr. has been living a very boxer lifestyle. He's been committed to it. He doesn't drink. He doesn't, he eats the right foods. He's a leader in his family. I think this might be Ray just disconnected. He'll be back. Something happened. Power went out. Something happened with him. He'll be back. Right. So I think that we're going to see a good Gary Russell, Allen Russell Jr., man. And I think he gets that victory. And I agree with Ray when he said that he thinks he's getting ready to go up to 135. I think that's where Gary Russell's ultimately going to want to end up going. I think there are fights there waiting for him, including Tank Davis is a potential fight. We know that they have a rivalry, DMV rivalry. That's a fight a lot of people thought should have been happening rather than a Lamont Roach fight. Hindsight, I think, shows that the Lamont Roach fight was a good choice of a fight to put together for Tank. But Gary has some opponents and some fights that could be made at 135, even with a Shakur Stevenson or a lot of those other champions at 135. I know he's a very confident fighter and believes he can take down a lot of these guys. So I'm looking forward to seeing this fight, and I want to see where Gary's at. And let's see at the end of this fight if we're looking for Gary to go to 135 and make the bigger fights, right? Let's see here. Hugo Castaneda was KO'd by the War Machine, Zamora in April. So smart money is on Russell Jr., but Castaneda is 23 years old and is a perfect test for Gary. I agree. These mofos out here working on the power lines. Oh, the power went out. It is what it is, Ray. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Do you want me to send you the link to your phone or something? Well, you still have access. I don't know if you want to use your phone. I don't know. You let me know. It is what it is. Guys, I want to go into this next fight. Let's go into the Alexander Usyk Daniel Dubois card and fight. Guys, this is going to be a big fight here. We talked about it already. Let me go ahead and pull up the actual fight card. But really, the main event is the fight that we're looking at, right? And Alexander Usyk and Daniel Dubois. 1 second here. Let's pull it up. Dynamite in the building. This fight right here, Daniel Dubois worked his way back into this conversation to make this fight happen. We know the journey. I don't want to keep going over the same thing over and over again, but you know what it was, right? It was Jarrell. It was Philip Ergovich. It was Anthony Joshua ultimately. And now he gets an opportunity as a full IBF champion to get into a unification fight where he, at the end of this, on a victory, could become an undisputed heavyweight champion. This is what it's all about. These are one of those things that Turkey Al-Sheikh brings to the table. Without him, we don't see fights like this. So where do we go with this fight, and how do I feel about this fight? Look, I'm be honest with you. There's some intangibles in here that make this fight intriguing. One of them, obviously, is the age. We're dealing with an Alexander Usyk. How old is Alexander? Is it 38 years old, I believe? 38-year-old Alexander Usyk, who's damn near 40 years old, who's just coming out of 24 rounds with a giant called Tyson Fury, a fight where he had to put everything he had into that fight, into those fights, in order to walk away with those victories. Put himself on a pound for pound list, which I don't understand at times, being that he's a heavyweight. But I guess taking into consideration that he came up from cruiserweight as an undisputed cruiserweight champion, he came up to the heavyweight division and achieved the ultimate goal of becoming a 2-weight class undisputed champion. Alexander Usyk has always brought that boxing IQ, right? The athleticism that he's always been able to bring into fighting. He's always been just ahead of his peers, and showed as he was ultimately tested, not only beating Anthony Joshua twice, but ultimately fighting what people thought was the real lineal, damn near should have been undisputed champion in Tyson Fury, who was able to defeat that guy twice, almost stopped Tyson Fury in their first fight, but ultimately outclassed Tyson Fury in that second fight and walked away with that victory and kept his titles. Here we are, Daniel Dubois being one of the fighters to give Alexander Usyk one of the biggest challenges, right? Outside of like a Derek Chisora. I mean, listen, Daniel Dubois almost stopped Alexander Usyk. Some people arguably feel like that was taken away from Daniel Dubois. They feel like Daniel should have got that 10 count, that he hurt Alexander Usyk to the body, and that if the referee would have counted and gave him that 10 count, that they didn't expect Alexander Usyk to recover from that, right? They didn't expect him to recover from that, and they feel like Daniel Dubois would have justifiably been a unified champion at the time and potentially would have had an opportunity to become undisputed to fight against a Tyson Fury, right? So can't cry over spilled milk. During that time, Daniel Dubois' heart was tested, and he had a lot of fights in between there. You know, Jarrell Big Baby Miller had 10 rounds of fire with him, and was able to stop Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Nobody else was able to not only beat Big Baby Miller, but stop him was unheard of, right? As Big Baby Miller came into that fight, 100 pounds damn near more than Daniel Dubois. And we watched him with Filip Ergovic, a fighter who was looked at to make a fight with Anthony Joshua, to become an IBF champion, and to be in the conversations of fighting for unification title fights. This guy beat Zhilei Zhang, you know, up-and-coming fighter that everybody thought a lot of. A lot of weight was put into Filip Ergovic, and Daniel Dubois was able to bully Filip Ergovic, take everything that Filip Ergovic was throwing at him, and ultimately able to break him on the back end. What was it again? He stopped Filip Ergovic, what, like 5th round, was it? What was it? Ergovic, I know it was due to cuts, but in doctor's advice with cuts above the eyes. I don't remember what round it was. I think was it the 5th round or the 8th round? I don't know what it was. But ultimately it is what it is, right? And then we saw what he did with Anthony Joshua, a fighter who was the top heavyweight in the UK for the longest time. So look, here goes the fight. It's going down. What are we looking at in this fight? I spoke about it a little bit earlier, but I'm looking for Daniel Dubois to be a little bit more athletic, a little bit more cerebral. I think his boxing is underrated. It's not better than Alexander Usyk's boxing, but at the same time, it's good enough. But I don't think he wants to hang back and box too long. He wants to keep that pressure on Alexander Usyk. He wants to keep Alexander Usyk moving, test his conditioning, test that body. We know that he's sensitive to the body. We've seen Tyson Fury hurt him to the body. We've seen Daniel Dubois hurt him to the body. He's been hurt to the body before. We've seen Anthony Joshua hurt him to the body. So there's no reason for Daniel Dubois to not jump into this fight looking to aim at that body. Straight jabs to the body, straight right hands to the body, and ultimately setting up big overhand right hands, straight jab up top, level changing. Cutting that ring off is going to be a big deal for for Daniel Dubois. I expect him to be athletic in this fight, and the conditioning should be on point. I'm expecting to see Daniel Dubois come in this ring, come into the weigh-in a little light. If I see him heavy at the scales, I'm not going to be too happy with what I see from Daniel Dubois. So let's look at Daniel Dubois, what he came in his last couple of fights here. He came in 252 pounds against Anthony Joshua, 247 pounds against Filip Ergovic. Came in. No, I'm sorry. I'm seeing this the wrong way. Let me go the other way. That's not what it was. Hold on a second. Anthony Joshua was 252. How much? He was 248 against Anthony Joshua. Sorry. 245 against Filip Ergovic, 239 against Jarrell Miller. I want to see Daniel Dubois come into the fight. 235. What do you think? 235? 230-ish, 235? What do you think, Ray?
He was Daniel Dubois? 240.
You thinking 240 for this one?
Definitely. Yeah. 245. Whatever he came in before. I think he's fine. He looks smaller though. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, he's gonna be in shape for this fight. He's gonna be in shape. I think he's gonna come in about 235 to 240, somewhere inside that window is where I expect him to come in. Maybe even 233. Listen, when he fought Alexander Usyk the first time, he came in at 233, right? So Yeah, man, about that same weight, 230 to 233. I expect him to be in great condition. He knows he's going to have that gas tank is going to get tested with Alexander Usyk, and he knows that he needs to cut that ring off. Alexander Usyk is going to be looking to get away from that power. Some PTSD there for Alexander Usyk, knowing that he shared 12 rounds with Daniel Dubois. He knows that this guy got popped. He knows this guy's punching. You know what I mean? And he's not going to want to put himself out there to get punched on by Daniel Dubois. So Daniel's going to have to be athletic, light, 230, 235, 235, 240 inside that range somewhere, and working that body, cutting that ring off. Alexander Usyk is going to be on his bicycle in this fight, I think. I'm leaning towards Daniel Dubois to win this. I think the youth is on his side. I think the will, I think the wanting to prove something. You can see Daniel Dubois has had a whole new personality, right? A whole new personality in Daniel Dubois. And I think this gets to show up in that fight. What do you think?
Yeah. Yeah, he's happy, bro. He's in a good spot. He knows what he's capable of. He sized him up. He was actually, I never even seen him act like that in a face-off before. You see how he was acting? Did you see that?
Yeah,
and you had no response from Usyk, which was hilarious. But yeah, man, I think he's,
that's what Usyk does too. You know, Usyk likes to carry it that way. He did that with Tyson Fury as well.
Yeah, he does. Sometimes he gets that little like, I'm just gonna stare at you the whole time type thing.
Yeah, try to get under your skin, stare at you, and let you know that doesn't. You know, that's his thing. That's his thing. Man.
Yeah.
Like a vampire almost, right?
Yeah, I couldn't take that angle, bro. I looked like Sagat from Street Fighter in that angle on their phone, bro. I was like, I was like 8 feet tall, bro. I ain't that tall. Like, dang. Yeah. Pause. I was gonna say something, but it's been bad. But yeah, no, that's gonna be a good fight, man. That's it's crazy because I don't see this as the fight of the night, though. This is probably the most expensive, most intriguing fight on the night. I mean, the biggest build up of the night. I don't see this as the fight of the night. It's crazy.
Well, you mean as far as on that card or just all
just
the fights?
The whole night. I think we're going to see a better fight.
Probably with Bam. Or the Diego Pacheco Trevor McCumbee fight could take it straight up.
I was thinking that. I was thinking Bam, and then I was also thinking, which is crazy because it's two DAZN cards at the same time, one PPV, one free. But no, I was actually thinking that that Gary Allen Russell might be the fight of the night, man.
Oh wow.
He's gonna come back. He got a lot to prove, bro.
No doubt.
Don't be surprised. He steals the night. You know what I mean, on his comeback.
No doubt. People in the building leaning towards Manny. They're leaning towards Mario Barrios, I think, for this win. Here, and a lot of people mess with this.
It was close.
39 votes.
Yeah, it's close. It's Manny at 49 right now. Well, I got 49.
Oh, somebody hit yes for no reason. I don't know why they hit yes.
Because you didn't take that off.
Right. I messed up and didn't put it on there. Manny,
yes.
People are favoring Manny, which is interesting, man. It's interesting. People believing in Manny Pacquiao's ability, or they're sleeping on Mario Barrios' ability. Either way, right? It is what it is. So who you leaning towards? You got Daniel taking this one or Usyk?
I'm going to rock with Usyk for the safe bet. For the safety of the bet. But I see Daniel Dubois. I don't think this guy becomes 3-time undisputed. I think Daniel Dubois knocks him out. But I'm leaning towards Usyk. What I think and what I know, or what I feel rather. I mean, I'm leaning towards Usyk. Man. I'm going with the short shot. If I had to bet in the arena, it's Usyk. What I feel, what I'm thinking, those things, definitely.
I think Daniel Dubois, if he's athletic and he shows that athleticism, I think you'll watch him. If he can cut off that ring well, he's going to attack that body he's going to dedicate himself to jabbing and punching him straight into that body, bro. I'm telling you, bro. And I think if he can slow down Usyk just one gear, take him down one gear to where Usyk is gasping for a little bit of air, I can see Daniel Dubois knocking him out in between 7th, 10th round, 6th to 9th round, even 7th to 10th, 6th to 9th round inside that window. I can see if he can start slowing down Usyk, I think he has enough power to where Usyk can't block Daniel Dubois' shots when he's letting off those overhand rights. And he's shown already Daniel's not going to be worried about Usyk's power coming back at him. Granted, he got stopped by Usyk in that last fight, but that was a lot of questions of the, questions of a little bit with Daniel Dubois. I got Daniel Dubois handling this, man. I think that the age catches up with Usyk. I think Usyk wakes up Saturday morning, 38 years old, bro. I think he wakes up 39. You know what I'm saying? I think he's been walking around 34, 33. You know what I mean? I think when he fought Tyson Fury, he was a 32-year-old in there. I think he wakes up Saturday morning and he's 38, maybe even 40. You know what I mean? He's on his way out the door. He's accomplished everything he's had to accomplish. He's made his proud. He's made himself proud. Does he have the fire in him to compete when Daniel Dubois puts him into the blender and athleticism starts to kick up and he's not able to move around as freely as he did against a Tyson Fury who was big and slow, right? Daniel Dubois has to put that athleticism down and put that pressure on him and break him. Very Subriel Matias, somewhat Williams Zepeda-ish type of energy. Can he do that? And if he does that efficiently, I can see him stopping Alexander Usyk. It is what it is.
I think we've been seeing a whole bunch of hand speed with Daniel Dubois lately, especially with the Anthony Joshua fight. It just shows he's been showing a lot of improvements.
Right.
And I think that look at it now. Anyway, let me focus on what I got to focus on. I think that homeboy Dubois puts. I don't even think it's Dubois. I think Dubois just gets fortunate to have Usyk walk into something that he's not supposed to walk into because of his movement and the way he fights. I think he walks into a check hook and it puts him out, lights out, like not even putting him down, lights out. I think it hurts him. But
he said, let's see how well this ages. Oh, God, he's holding me to it. Hey, man, that's what I think, man. That's what I think, man. I won't be surprised if Usyk wins this fight, man. But I am looking for Daniel Dubois. I think we're just dealing with an opportunity for a passing of the torch.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think, this is an opportunity for Daniel Dubois to truly step up, help Usyk out the door. And, the heavyweight division benefits off of a undisputed champion in Daniel Dubois. I think that what I'm saying? The heavyweight division looks good with Daniel Dubois, the undisputed champion. He's going to fight all comers. The fights are going to be crazy. The knockouts are going to be crazy. You know what I mean? I want to see Daniel Dubois in there with a Martin Bacoli. I want to see Daniel Dubois in there with a Moses Atuma. I want to see him in there with a Philip Ergovich or a Derek Chisora or Joseph Parker or any of these fights, man. You know what I don't want to see? Alexander Usyk who's cherry picking opponents because he wants to have 2 or 3 more paydays in the heavyweight division holding all the belts. Like, shout out. He deserves the opportunity to do it, by the way. He deserves it. You know what I'm saying? He's earned it. But a game, young, 27-year-old heavyweight champion and Daniel Dubois, undisputed, fighting all comers, man, that's a good look for the heavyweight division. I don't know about you, man.
Yeah. I mean, both ways, either way, I can live with it. I just think Usyk, I feel, actually, that means I say it, because I use feel and think already. What I believe, Usyk just continues to do what he does, man. He moves, and he's an in and out fighter, and he just knows how to win on the points, man. I think and beat you up and make you pay. So I think he wins the fight. I believe he wins the fight. I'm gonna correct my words today because I don't want any confusion from the fan base. So I believe he wins the fight, but I think Usyk can win. I mean, what's his name knocks him out. Kind of weird, right?
I think on paper, what you're saying makes a lot of sense, and it's hard to go against it because on paper, the facts and the stats say that Usyk comes in with the edge, the experience, the IQ, the pedigree, the opponents, beating Tyson Fury twice, beating Anthony Joshua twice, even beating Daniel Dubois before. So it's hard not to favor Usyk, but I think the intangible in this fight is going to be the age, and the will. The age is something that can't be changed. It is what it is. He's 30 years old. The will, you got to ask yourself, why? What's Alexander Usyk's why? He's making big paydays. That's a why. But is that enough to fight against a Daniel Dubois who has his whys are clear? I want to be the leader of the pack. I want the torch passed over to me. I'm the best heavyweight in the world behind this guy. If I'm able to beat this guy, a guy who I hurt, who a lot of people feel like I should have won against, I was robbed against, then this begins a new era, the Daniel Dubois heavyweight era. in boxing, and he's motivated. I think that we're dealing with a very motivated Daniel Dubois. Just look how much shape he's in. He's taking this very seriously. Didn't take the Joseph Parker fight when he got sick. Didn't say, let's go ahead and make that fight happen. Let's make the rematch happen. He's like, nah, bro. I want Usyk. Before Usyk retires, before he makes a decision that gets him out of my crosshairs and takes him away from me and my opportunity for the redemption, I want to fight him now. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is, man. Let me see here. I want to get into I want to continue to move the needle a little bit, and I do want to get into the Bam Rodriguez card. You know what I'm saying? I do want to get into the Bam Rodriguez card. Hold on a second here. Well, I want to get into 2 fights on that card, then we can open up the panel. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, hold on one second here. Let's see here. Ray, hold it down for me for 1 second because I want to be nice and I'm talking about this, right?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, no problem. No problem. Yeah, Ross Clyde. I would love to hook my phone up to my laptop that's downstairs. So I got my workstation. This is a whole, literally a whole station. I don't know if you can see it in the back here on the Sugar Ray reflection, but yeah, it's a whole station, bro. But you can see, look, it's still messing with me. They out there messing with these power lines. It just broke up, so it's crazy. It's been like this for a week. They've been putting up, I think it's Verizon. They're putting up lines, but they messing with every other thing. I got a notification from Xfinity telling me this was, look, roll my eyes. From Xfinity telling me this was going to happen. So it is what it is, man. I can only do what I can. You know what I mean? I prefer to be on my phone too, because I think my phone is going to be a little bit better, but we'll see. Oh, thank you, man. You know what it is. I try to keep it clean. You know what I mean? I was going to do the panel thing before with the brick wall, but I decided not to because wife was like, no. But it is what it is. So what else we got going on? So cool. Let me see. So Roz, anybody else got the where's the polls at? Actually, real quick. So we still have Manny Pacquiao at 47% over Mario Barrios. Anybody want to elaborate on that in the chat? Okay, we'll keep it busy then. We'll keep it smoking. So yeah. So this week is never mind. Play back. You always catch me on play back. I was about to build on something. I don't even know what it was going to be, Clay, but I was going to find this subject.
No doubt.
I do too, Roscoe. I totally feel that. I feel that he does. I don't think he wants to fight in any of the younger guys coming up. Let's put it that way. I'm not going to say nothing crazy. I think he does retire. I think he just wants that opportunity to win a title again and prove that he can do it to himself. Whether he stays and plays, that's on him. But I think he's about that time to be like, nah.
Yeah. So heading into the Jesse Bam Bam Rodriguez card, really 2 significant fights on the card that I'm very interested in, right? I'm not gonna lie to you, man. It's the Diego Pacheco fight, clearly, and Jesse Rodriguez fight. I'm also interested in seeing Omari Jones do his thing. You know what I mean? I'm loving what Omari Jones has been able to do.
Omari Jones or Omari Jones?
Omari, Omari Jones.
Okay. That's why I want to make sure, because last time you put the wrong screenshot.
I put Omari on there. And you know what's so funny? It was so funny. It's like when you seen the picture, it's like, who is this dude? What happened? I didn't, you know what I'm saying? So, but this kid, Omari Jones, doing great things, man. I can't wait to see where he ends up at. I think this fight right here, he'll be fighting it at 154, maybe, or 150. Yeah. I'm not sure how he's going to carry it, but I'm definitely interested in seeing him continue to do what he does. But more importantly, we got Jesse Bam Rodriguez going for is this a unification title fight? Am I correct?
Yes. Against Flaws? Yes.
Yeah, against Fumalela Capu.
It's not Flaws?
No, it's Fumalela Capu.
Bro, I can't even say his name. My bad.
Hold on. Does he hold a title on this one? Anybody know?
He has a title. He has a title, but it
is?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. Isn't Jesse Rodriguez a unified champion, or he's just a WBC champion?
Who's that? No,
Jesse's just a WBC champion.
Cafu, whatever his name is, I think he's a champ, bro.
Right, I hear you. What I'm asking you is Jesse Rodriguez a unified champion?
Yeah, he has 2 belts. Remember, they don't put the WBA on BoxRec anymore.
Oh, that's what it is. Bong. That's what it is. Okay, because I'm looking at BoxRec. I'm like, what the hell is his other belt? I could have sworn he had 2 belts. So it should be 3 belts. That's what I was seeing.
Yeah. They don't put it on what's no more.
Right. Okay. Boom. So big fight for him, man. You know, on the quest to become an undisputed champion. You know, we know that Turki Al-Sheikh has a big time interest in Jesse Rodriguez. This is one of those fights where Jesse Rodriguez has this fight, but is already scheduled for his next fight in November. First of all, what do you think about that? About Turki doing that? Are you okay with that, or is that kind of like
enough time? It's enough time. It's 3 months out. I mean,
but not only time, but I'm saying having a fight signed and you didn't even win the fight in front of you. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let's look at it this way. A lot of Turki's fights have been that way. I mean, he had the Bachman fight signed for 2 fights, right? December, and then he turned around and had him fight in January or March or something like that, right? I'm sorry, March or February or March. With Majumov, and they had to take him off the card because he was like, I'm not fighting both these dudes, bro. You want to even have me fight here, or you gonna have me fight here? He ended up taking himself off the card. Oh, it was Majumov. Was Majumov or Bachman? One of them had to fight. Remember, it was like one scheduled in December, and it was turned around. It was on the next fight card they had. He was going to be fighting on that card.
Yeah, no, it was Majumov. Yeah, it was Majumov was going to fight Serhii Bohachuk, and then they had him scheduled to fight Virgil.
And he came. He was like, I'm not fighting that close. And he already signed. He signed the contract. So he was already ready.
No, he got sick. He got sick. He caught the pneumonia.
But yeah, so he pulled out the one fight, and I think this is the same situation. I mean, I'm not saying he's going to pull out, but there's a situation where fighters. I mean, we should know what they should know what they're going to do in their next payday is, regardless if they win or lose. He signed a deal. Nick Ball came off a loss, close fight, and he signed a deal. He moved into the next fight. I think that I think they see what this really is, Clay. Let's not sit here and pull teeth and bite our nails. We all think that Bam Rodriguez is going to win this fight. Anybody out there that thinks otherwise, I mean, you think it. Kafu is a good fighter, but I don't think he beats Bam. I think Bam is levels above everybody in the division. I think he's also he's a weight bully in that division, to say the least. And I think this is an opportunity for him to get a third belt. He wants to go undisputed, then move up. But I think this is just a way for him to solidify who he is. And I think Turki and everyone else feels the same way. He's just going to win, bro. It is what it is.
Yeah. I got him winning as well, man. Man, Bam is just so talented, bro. One of the most talented fighters in boxing today.
Crazy.
Definitely belongs on a pound for pound list somewhere on the list. I don't care where you have him. That's up to you. I understand that he has a lot more to do. He's one of those fighters who has a lot more in front of him than what's been left behind him. So you just so excited to see him develop and go into these next weight class divisions and ultimately make some super big fights, right? Like even, Juno Nakatani fight or something of that nature, or maybe even getting up into like 126-pound conversation at some point in his career.
He'll be there soon. He'll be there soon.
Right. You know what I mean?
Real quick, before you even elaborate even further, let me just say one thing. He's a generational fighter. And we talking about all these other fighters that are like Abdullah Mace. Don't get me wrong. I love all these fighters. I think we have a great talent pool of fighters in this generation. Bam Rodriguez is the guy that's going to lead the next 6 or 7 years. Trust me when I say that. He's going to be the guy that's going to probably be in the way. He's going to be the guy that's going to move up. He's going to be at 135. He's going to take all the challenges. I think he has a lot to grow. I think he'll stop at 135, 140, and then we'll see him in tough fights with some of these guys. He'll catch a lot of them on the way out if they don't move up. And
I think he'll get up to 140.
Yeah, Bam Rodriguez. Yeah, he walks around. When they tell you he's a weight bully, he's a weight bully for a reason, bro. He's definitely probably he should be fighting at 126, 130 right now, but he fights at 118. So you know what I mean? It's crazy.
I mean, I don't know. He's sitting. Maybe. I don't know. I just feel like he's 5'4". I mean, he's a pretty small guy, bro.
Well, all right,
so
so let's leave him at 130 then. 130, 126.
Yeah, I think 126 closes out like 130. That's what I believe. I think
we'll leave him at it. We'll leave him there. But
will be the division that I want to see him
compete at. 5'4", man. He won the title at 140, so never put nothing past anybody. Your skills pay the bills, bro.
Yeah, no doubt. But no, entertaining to watch him fight is a gift. It's a pleasure. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like the honor to watch him fight. He's such a cerebral fighter, and but with that killer instinct, man, to get you out of there, man. I love the fight against him in Estrada. That fight was just a dissection on a high level, man. You just really saw him and just realized that he was levels above your best fighter in the division that he's in, like just levels above that guy. Therefore, multiple levels against everybody else in the division.
Right.
Yeah, man. But you know, I do worry about Turki Al-Sheikh and the booking fighters before they even fight. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird.
It's not cool to do, because now your point is, if he loses this fight, now he has to change that fight he has in November to a rematch.
Or
now you just took that other guy off the card that you wanted to fight him. So yeah, you gotta should take it slow. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, you gotta listen to our boy that sings sings a Smurf song. You know what I mean? What's his name? From Chicago. Take it slow, slow. You know what I mean? But anyway, my bad.
Right.
Trying to be funny.
Nah, man, it's gonna be interesting to watch him make this fight happen. I am a little uncomfortable with Turki Al-Sheikh moving that way. I hope he changes that after a while. I mean, at times I can understand like putting the motivation. I see the thought process behind it to put the motivation in the fighter, like, yo, the next opportunity is going to be even better. So make sure you win this one. We saw that blow up in Turki's face a little bit with the whole Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia situation. That looked bad. Some people fault the quality of those fights based on them trying to protect the next fight. But certain fighters aren't built like that. Like Bam Rodriguez, I don't think takes off on a fight to get to the next fight. He's going to fight his fight. But yeah, man, it's going to be a pleasure to watch him fight.
I like what Raiders Transplant said. Reyes, yo, I 100% agree with that. That's what I was trying to say, but it's cool. I agree. I think it is good to have them on the schedule, to have them, because it gives them. Yes, you want the best fights, and you rather them work for their fights but it's not a team sport because you're having a schedule. They may take off a fight or so, but at least I think at the same time, at the back end of it, having a fight schedule, like having your next fight schedule or a fight after, a couple fight schedule, you know what you're working towards also. So it could be a gift and a curse. And I think we got the curse part of it. You know what I mean? Let's see if we get the gift part out of it this time.
Yeah, for sure. Let me see here. What's up, fellas? I hope all is well today. No doubt, Tay Bugs, without a doubt, man. Mr. Big Play said off topic, when Oshaki fighting again and who? I mean, the conversation is that Oshaki's supposed to be fighting Stephen Fulton, right? When? I don't know. You know what I mean? I'm assuming it's supposed to be on a PBC card, I would think, is when they want it to happen. I don't know. They haven't announced it. But supposedly that's what's in negotiations.
Speaking of that card that it been canceled, does Frank Martin still fight, and does Oshaki and Stephen Fulton still fight on that weekend, and they just remove no,
those guys ain't fighting. Those guys are waiting. They'll wait, and they'll do what they've always done in the PBC. They'll have these fighters waiting. They'll be inactive, or eventually, if there's room on some other card that maybe Turkey's putting together or something, maybe he'll allow some of them to get shopped out to other cards. But outside of cross promoting, Frank Martin fighting against a top ranked fighter, or you know what I'm saying, something of that nature. That's how he gets on other cards. Or you let Turkey get a hold of him and put him in the ring. I don't know. You know what I mean? We'll see. We'll see. You know what I mean? But yeah, we just got to watch, man. And I wouldn't be shocked at all to see them just waiting, to be honest with you. Just waiting. Like a lot of other fighters have been made forced to do.
Oh, look at the poll. Mario Barrios just took a lead. Out of nowhere. He was down, but like, listen, y'all gotta come correct, man. I know they ain't happening. It's gonna change again. It's going to change.
It is what it is, man. I mean, it's amazing though.
It's close.
Yeah.
I gotta log into my other account, Clay. Don't worry.
All right.
I gotta cheat a little bit.
It's amazing how close they're keeping that fight, though, right? It's amazing how close they're keeping that fight. The big fight on that card for me, though, is definitely Diego Pacheco versus Trevor McCumbee, man. Especially coming off of the weekend we just had with Hamza Shiraz. 168 is cooking up, bro. 168 is cooking up, bro. You know what I mean? In spite of Canelo Alvarez, not cooperating with the division and not giving the mandatories any type of opportunity to really fight, the division is cooking. It's cooking. You got Diego Pacheco fighting against Trevor McCumbee. Remember Trevor McCumbee against Caleb Plant, you know what I'm saying, put Caleb Plant on his pockets. Trevor McCumbie's a game fighter, but I think one-dimensional to a degree, right? Like not a lot of wrinkles to his game. What do you think about Trevor McCumbie?
I think he's he's a power puncher, bro. That's all he is. I mean, he can box though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he's so much one-dimensional. I think he doesn't get his head off the line. I think he's more so trying to get the knockout. But as far as him boxing, bro, he has the skills to pay the bills. He can definitely do it. A little slow compared to some of your marquee boxers. You know what I mean? That's why he's probably more of a power puncher. But yeah, his boxing skills is definitely there. He's just his defense is a little lackluster. But other than that, he's a good. He's got opportunity. He's got the puncher's opportunity. So it's always there for him.
No, he has that pressure, man. I think Diego's gonna run through him like a hot knife through butter, though. I don't think Trevor McCumbie has the intangibles to make it complicated for Diego Pacheco. Once I seen Diego, that ultimate test for me was Diego versus Steve Nelson. Once I seen the way he handled Steve Nelson, I believe Steve Nelson beats Trevor McCumbie X amount of times out of 10, right? Steve Nelson just comes from that pedigree, coming from that Bo Mack and Terrence Crawford gym. Diego really handled him. Didn't dominate him per se. Steve was in the fight, but still that level of competition showed you what Diego's made of. And he has the attributes. He's tall. He got the long arms. He got the power. He got the IQ. I'm looking forward to seeing Diego Pacheco compete at the highest level at 168. I think he's one of the leaders. We just watched Edgar Berlanga get exposed and pushed out of the conversation from one of those guys at 168. We watched Jamal Charlo fight against a cornflake Lamana, and really just we know that Jamal Charlo, we don't know if his head is in the game, if we expect to see him again. His dreams got blown apart when Caleb Plant lost against an Armando Resendez. The division is shaking up a little bit like a snow globe. You know what I'm saying? Where people you thought was going to be there ain't necessarily there, but you have this new coming generation behind them, right? You have Lester Martinez, you got Christian and Billy, you got Lester Martinez. You have these new fighters, and now you got a Hamza Shiraz in the game, and Diego Pacheco. Listen, man, I got aspirations and a lot of expectation for that kid to do some great things. I know Eddie Hearn does as well. That Canelo Alvarez conversation is a conversation that Diego Pacheco would like his name to be in. This fight is a big fight against Trevor McCumbie, and I think he runs through him, bro. I think he gets him out of there. I think he stops Trevor McCumbie inside of 7 rounds. What do you think?
Inside of 7?
Inside of
That's
7.
fair. That's fair. Yeah, inside of 7 is fair. You would have said like 3 or 4 frozen again? Jeez. Bro, this is crazy. They're killing me out there, bro. I'm literally going to have to call them and ask them what they're going to do about this because I got to still pay my bill, bro, and it's uncomfortable to be up here and I'm making faces like I'm singing the blues, bro. It's crazy.
It is what it is, man. It is what it is.
Look, they'll pause that one. Watch.
No doubt. What I'm going to do is I'm going to throw that link out. We hit the 2-hour mark. I'm going to hit that link. We could spend about a half an hour or so. Salute Kalia or so. I'm sorry. There's the link if you guys want to come up here and build on anything that we've talked about. Shout out to everybody who's in the building, guys. Make sure you hit that like button. Let's make sure we're putting this where it needs to be. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, take an opportunity to go ahead and do that as well, man. So what's the stick out for you, though? What's the stick out fight for you? You said the Gary Russell. Out of all these fights, you feel like the Gary Russell
fight's going to be the fight. I mean, my second fight I was leaning towards was the Bam Rodriguez fight, but I just don't think that David Dubois fight's going. I think it's going to be either an upset or the usual winner. So it's nothing really to be like, whoa. I mean, to me in that fight, and I think like unless it's like a first round or a second round knockout by unexpectedly either side, that's what we see. Manny Pacquiao, Barrios, I think it's going to be something that's going to be overrated because we're going to see a guy with a wheelchair fighting a guy that stands on stilts, and I think that's going to be ridiculous. I think the other fight we have on that card may be a potential banger, which is the Fundora fight, but is it really going to be, you know what I mean? Because I think his weight, we always talk about the weight with Homeboy, right? And the weight issues with Homeboy and how it hurts him, Kid Austin, right? Does it play a part in Figueroa? You know what I mean? Should Figueroa have been moved up by now? So that's going to be another situation that we have to look into on these cards. So it is what it is.
No doubt, no doubt. Man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm going with the heavyweights, man. I think Alexander Usyk, Daniel Dubois is a fight of the weekend, man. I think that's a fight I'm looking forward to see. I think it's gonna.
Tuma's not fighting this weekend, right? That's later. That's next month, right?
Who?
Tuma.
Yeah, Moses Tuma fighting August 26th or August 16th.
Yeah, okay. So then, yeah, we good.
Yeah, that card's gonna be a good card too. That's
gonna be a good card. That's gonna be something worth watching.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, King. How you, man?
I'm good. What's up, Ray?
What's going on? No question.
I like the hat. You a Lions fan?
No, I'm a Steelers fan.
Okay,
Yeah,
you from PA too? You from PA too?
No, you from Jersey.
Okay,
you know,
okay.
Steelers fan.
Jersey is like across New York, Pennsylvania state. Like at times it be Pennsylvania.
We just ain't got no team. Let's keep it real, Clay. We ain't got no team here.
Basically, you guys are orphans. Nobody.
We got a lot of Cowboys, a lot of Steelers, a lot of Eagles.
You guys, we done snatch the nets from you guys. Like, yo, get up out of here, bro. When nobody trying to.
I do know that. I tell people all the time. I'm from Philly, so I do know that. I tell people all the time the Steelers is the team of Pennsylvania, but people don't want to believe me.
You saying over Philly, over the Eagles?
Absolutely. The Steelers' history is way richer than the Eagles.
No, it's way richer, but don't you think
it's not even close?
Don't you think the Eagles is Philly though? Like Philly separates itself from the rest of Pennsylvania. I've always noticed that.
For sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
Like you go to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh gives you like Ohio, Midwest. They got a whole different accent, a whole different way that they talk. Philly just kind of has their own identity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but a lot of my older relatives, a lot of them, especially the guys, my uncles, my dad, they're all Steelers fans.
Okay.
Good men. You see what I mean? Smart men, but it's okay.
It is yo, shout out to
the Steelers was winning.
Shout out to everybody on the panel, man. We've definitely got a new guy on the panel. I want to introduce you guys to Reyes Boxing, man. He was on the panel last night. If you guys didn't see him last night, show was a good show, great panel. A lot of scholarship. Crazy story about this dude. I'm not gonna give his story. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna say I talked to him a little bit last night, and man, interesting people you meet on the damn internet, bro. You know what I'm saying? You meet some interesting damn people.
First of all, let me just say, Claymore, your positive energy and your passion for the game, and understanding that there is an open space like in the UK where people don't want to just talk or troll. They actually want to talk facts. They want to talk stats. They want to have a good debate and a good conversation. And it isn't personal. You know, it isn't personal. It's just, hey, this is who I rock with because I started watching them in the amateurs. This is who I rock with. But everybody is fair, and I really like that about your channel. So I appreciate you. And yes, guys, I am new to, I guess, just joining in. As I was telling Claymore, I like to just kind of look around first to see where you can have smart conversation before I start jumping in. But today, as I was telling you, Claymore, is my 3-year anniversary of successful post-liver transplant. So it's one of these things where I always like to talk about it on any platform, because for all of you guys who consider organ donation, people like me wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for the power of that. And Claymore knows the crazy story of what I had to go through. Wild.
I couldn't believe it. I was in literal awe last night listening to that story. I got goosebumps right now. That story is it's amazing. And I was telling Ray earlier on the phone, talking to him, and I was like, yo, bro, I left inspired. You know, you left me wanting to live life, not play with my life. You know, not play with this gift that we have, and make sure that we, you know, that we chase your dreams, live your life, bro, because you're not promised tomorrow. And it's a blessing, bro. You wake up in the morning, bro, it's an opportunity to do better than yesterday, right? Don't push anything till tomorrow. Don't push anything till next month. What they say, what you can do today, do not push it off till tomorrow, man, because you think you got time, but time is it's a fickle thing at times. You know what I mean? Time can change on you, man. It can look very different.
And just to touch base on that real quick, I just want to say, as of my renewal of my license, I became an organ donor. And the reason for that, you know what I mean? My wife was so against it, and I tried to explain it. She's like, well, what about your kids? I was like, well, if I don't donate anything, what are they going to get? Because they're just going to being in a bombing bottle somewhere or fried up somewhere, right? If I donate them, they have a chance of getting them. If not my kids, someone has another second chance at life. And I'd rather be the person that gives the gift than not see somebody receive their second chance. So regardless if my kids or not. So I became a donor this year, or last year rather, when I renewed my license. And I'm so proud of that. And I'm proud to hear your story, man. I'm very proud of you.
Hey, God bless you, man. Thank you so much for doing that. And again, it's a conversation, guys. It's something that you should look into, you should talk about. But just like Claymore knows, I went from you're going to die maybe in less than 30 days to I'm right here, right now, literally 3 years to the day, talking to good people like you about the very sport that we love. And I mean, it's just insane. It's just insane. Starting off my morning here in the West Coast, Claymore's crazy. We were up pretty late, man.
Yo, listen, man, it's a while. Listen, man, I love talking about this sport, man. And it's so funny because they'll tell you on the panel as you watch, I'm mad every day we do this show. I'm upset. Why am I upset, guys? Every day. What is my issue? Every damn day.
Well, you said 2 hours, and we're already past that. So
we go over every day.
Every day. 4 hours, 5 hours, 3.5 hours, 4.5. It just is what it is, man. I'm blessed to have my wife be at work at this time of the day, so I don't have that pressure on me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To get off this, but it is what it is, man. So that being said, though, let's get to it because we'll end up being here way longer, man. We have a great weekend of fights coming up ahead of us. I'm interested in what you guys are looking forward because this weekend is as I stated in the beginning of this show, I said, what in the hell did we ask for, bro? Right? Be careful of what you asked for because we said we wanted more boxing, and damn it, it's going to be interesting to see how we watch these fights this weekend. What gets watched? What gets the replay? How do we keep up with this? What standouts on the panel right now are we looking forward to this weekend? You know what I mean? Like, we got a lot of fights, but what's the standout fight for the weekend, man?
Can I just throw it to the panel? My biggest thing is, I think the biggest standout is that the trend will become in the United States, because it already is outside of the U.S. But in the U.S., the trend will become that fight sports in general, and definitely boxing, will become a top 5 again. It'll become in the top 5.
I see
once
that
again.
happening.
Yeah, but go ahead, guys.
And I want to thank, to piggyback off that, I want to thank Jake Paul. Everybody thinks he's laughing at me. Once he put that in the casual eyes, that YouTube stuff, brought it up. And shout out to Bubs because he said, well, what about Jake Paul? Bubs, I mean, give him his salute. Yes, I acknowledge that as well. It wasn't just Turkey. I shout out Turkey all the time because I think Turkey he's a fan and he did it. But I think Jake Paul also played his part.
Yeah. He definitely played his role in this, man. He definitely played his role in this. So, but I'm interested. I need to know where are we? What's the fight for each one? We'll start off with Echo. By the way, this is Echo. Reyes. He's one of the OGs of the channel. Super scholar, historian. You'll love speaking to him. He's like that in a way that I'd actually be interested in seeing you guys go at it because he's really like that. Echo is that guy. Like I'm talking about his. Yeah, you'll learn as you talk and. Great guy, man. Great guy, super knowledgeable. We'll go back to 1950 something in 2 seconds. We'll find a fight back in 1950 something to give us some perspective on what's going on today in the fight we're talking about now. It's nothing for him. It's nothing. So salute to the OG. From across the pond, by the way, from the UK, by the way. Echo.
And that's what I'm talking about. The UK cats, they all know it's all about the history of boxing. So I appreciate you, Echo. That's awesome.
Well, somebody in the chat was talking about SR Charles being better than Usyk. And, that's just an opinion. But when SR Charles fought Rocky Marciano in June 17, 1954, he only touched his back in the 15th round. That's how great SR Charles was. And then in the rematch, he got knocked out in 8th round. But that's just a bit of history I'm just saying now. But to be honest, I mean, it's very difficult to compare anybody from the past, you know what I mean? But I'm looking forward, forget about the past now. I'm just thinking about, and everybody's talking about which fight is the best fight, whatever, what you're looking forward to. I'm interested in all the fights because you can learn from any fight. It doesn't matter whether it's an undercard or whatever. Because At one point, everybody was undercard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who it is. Anybody, you know. And people lose their first fights. They do well in the first 20, whatever. You know, so I'm interested in all the fights, but I'm really interested in the Bam, what he can do, Bam Rodriguez. And I don't think he should be pushed too quick to go up in weight. That's my opinion. You know, somebody, and this is why people say people are overrated, not because they're not good, but they overrate them so they can go too far.
Right.
And then they get smashed. You know, people talk about Duran, you know, when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, okay, he went up 2 weights. He didn't go up 2 weights. He fought many fights at welterweight before he fought him in June 20th, 1980, when he won the title from Leonard in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
He had many welterweight fights before that. You know, so this is why people miss. You know, they look at the record and they go, okay, lightweight, that's what he was, and then he won the welterweight title. It's not true. You know, only a few people have done that, you know, gone from weight to weight, like Henry Armstrong did in 1937, went from welter, you know, went from featherweight when he beat Peter Saron. That was 29th of October, 1937. Then he went up to fight Barney Ross. And that was in 1938. That was in May 31st, 1938. Then he went back down and beat Luambers, and that was in August 27th, 1938. So he did 3 titles with no in-between weights in less than 2 years. So when people talk about Crawford, it's not the same thing. Just not the same thing at all. But I'm looking forward to all the fights, to be honest.
Echo, can I ask you too, because I'm sure you'll get this off the top of your head.
What's that?
Did Bob Foster do the same, and did also Michael Spinks do the same? Because Spinks, I believe, didn't he go up from light heavyweight straight to Larry Holmes, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah, he fought him straight away, yeah. But not many people do, though. That's the thing. Not many people do, you know.
Now, is that speaking towards how I don't, you know I'm a Terrence Crawford supporter, so you know I Terrence is my guy. So is that highlight like kind of how amazing what he's actually trying to attempt to do, and if he accomplishes it,
Is that Crawford, you mean?
Yeah, basically, is what Crawford aiming to do right now.
It is good.
If he accomplishes it, is it that significant because it's so far in between for people to actually accomplish it?
I mean,
well, the thing is, the difference is there was same day weigh-ins back then. They actually sometimes weighed in the ring at the same time. So you had the scales in the ring. You know, I mean, that's the only difference, really. And you know, a lot of boxers, they were sitting in the sauna the night before and whatever. You know, when Jake LaMotta fought Sugar Ray Robinson, he was drinking whiskey. That's all he was drinking. You know, he wasn't eating anything. He was spitting out food and all sorts of. He had trouble making the weight. And he was in the sauna the day before, you know. So, but now you don't have to do that. But a lot of people now talk about weight bullying, but weight bullying has been around since boxing started. It's not a new thing. People were fighting people 160 pounds. For instance, Jack Johnson fought Sam Langford at 156 when he weighed heavyweight. That was in 1904. You know what I mean? And he didn't give him a rematch. That gives you a good indication how good Sam Langford was. But now it's not the same now.
Can I just say too, and you brought it up a little earlier, that it really is very difficult for us, especially when you understand the history of boxing, to compare the new school fighters to the old school fighters. Because when you talk about someone like Roberto Duran, he was fighting, I don't know, 5-7 times a year. Like, it was easy. It wasn't like Crawford, who I understand, Claymore, you love him, but also he fights once a year, right? A once a year pace is a very different pace than Muhammad Ali, who we've seen fight 4 or 5 times in that era. And then the other thing that Echo was bringing up too is that I know that the weight bully thing might have gotten popular because I don't know if it was the Haney maniacs that out there or whatnot.
For sure.
But in truth, but in truth, Echo, and shout out to the UK on this one. This is why I love Conor Benn. I love Conor Benn, and a lot of people will sit there and try to say, well, who's he really fought and what's in his resume. I don't care about any of that. Here's what I love about Conor Benn.
It's just
He doesn't
fighting.
care what weight you are. If you challenge him, he will fight you. And this is why I said Shakur, I hope when he was on the Ariel Helwani show wasn't like just joking or trying to promote, because Conor Benn's real. He will fight. He will come back down after Eubanks to 147 to go fight Shakur. And we need more boxers. And in fact, let me say it this way. We need more United States of America boxers to have that exact same attitude. The Conor Benn, I don't care. Let's go for it. And we would have superstars.
We need that can-do attitude, right? We need that can-do, will-do. You know what I mean? Like, and a little chip on their shoulder that they understand can only get settled inside that ring, not through social media, not through yapping and japping and throwing shots at each other. No, this is boxing. The differences are settled in the ring, and if they're not willing to do that, then we're just stuck, stagnant, and things just don't happen, and we just get annoyed as fans, right? Because we want to know who's who and what's what, and the only way for us as fans to know it is to see you do it in the ring. And be quite frankly honest, the only way for you to know it as a fighter is to go get it in blood in the damn ring. So that's one thing we got to love about this sport, and I want to see it come back. And I agree with you. I hope that Shakur is being serious. I believe he is being serious. I think Shakur is being serious, but I agree with you 100%, man. I hope he is feeling that way. A lot of people are pushing back at the idea of that. Oh, please, I don't want to see that. I can't stand that state of mind. You should want your fighter to have the energy that Shakur brought by staying back, waiting for Conor Benn to come up there, having that, by the way, how mature, how honorable, how much respect was there, watching them talk to each other, and things didn't have to fly across the room. Nobody had to get insulted. We're both fighters. This is what we chose to do for our life, for our livelihood. Why can't we sit in front of each other and speak quite frankly about how I will beat and batter you if you jump into my division? Respectfully, right? Respectfully. That's what you're asking for. I'm going to give you that work respectfully. Right. You know what I mean? Shout out to them. Shout out to David Benavidez and Anthony Yardy as they're able to shout out to Terrence Crawford and Canelo who are able to be in a room with each other, be interviewed, and speak frankly that I'm gonna stomp a mud hole in you, bro. Respectfully. You've accomplished a lot. I'm actually a fan of you, but respectfully, on September 13th, I ain't gonna like you a lot. I hope you can like me after the fight. I'm gonna do bad things.
That's the way it should be, Clay. That's the way it should be.
Right?
Gentleman's sport, right? They call it.
Yeah, you respect the other fighter, and then there's plenty of times when people have fought each other and they've been really respectful and they've been disrespectful. But it depends on what you do. It's not what you say, it's how you say it as well.
Right.
I don't believe in, when people start putting race and stuff into it, these, things like, like what happened to Marvin Hagler and what happened to Kawasaki and all these things, and Haney saying what he said or whatever. There's no need to bring that in. There's no need to bring that in. I mean, it's like me saying to you, well, in a minute, I'm going to go and see one of my black friends. Why would I even say that?
Yeah, it's just your friend. You're about to go see your
friend. It's a friend. You know what I mean? There's no need to even put that in the conversation.
Right.
No, I agree with you 100%. And I know Ray's trying to tap in, but I just want to I'll land my plane to say that there's a new era of boxing coming in that I'm appreciating. I like when fighters, and now if you guys have a genuine issue with each other, listen, have a genuine issue without a doubt. If you have one, have one. But the idea that a prerequisite to this fight being interesting is that you guys have some beef out in the streets that can only be, that's not necessary. When we saw Berlanga kind of carrying that energy with Hamza, it's like, when did you get that upset with Hamza?
Yeah.
There was no need for that.
It starts to show up as insecurity. You know what I mean? It starts to show up as fear. It starts to show up as insecurity. It starts to show up as something that doesn't make sense. When all of a sudden you're ready to fight this guy inside of a hotel lobby or inside of a parking lot. Like when, why, how? You guys just, because you guys are going to fight each other and compete? This is a sport. Could you imagine if the New York Giants had to fight the San Francisco 49ers in the parking lot before they played on the field? Could you imagine if Michael Jordan had to give Isaiah Thomas the fade that they had to keep separated? Yo, watch out. Keep Jordan over there
away from
until the match goes back. Because once the match, anything can happen. What are you talking about? What are we talking about? No, you'd watch Magic Johnson kiss Isaiah Thompson on the cheek right before the match. Mwah. It was kind of weird, pause worthy, but they did it, right? Because it wasn't personal.
They had a personal friendship. Yeah,
we were going to compete at the highest level when the game started until the last minute of fourth quarter. We were going to be going at it. You might get fouled by me a little aggressively. It's going to go down because I want to win more than anything. But after the fight, after the match, we was back at it again. I want to know how your kids are doing. I want you asking me about how my kids are doing. We're good friends. I think boxing could be the same thing. I appreciate seeing that, and you see the boxing space push back so hard on Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez enjoying a spread that Turki Al-Sheikh put out. I mean, look, we're not used to it, but we also know that these guys are big-time competitors. And why does that have to look so strange to the point to where we're like, that's BS? No, bro. What's happening in the ring is what's going to happen in the ring. Outside the ring, gentlemen should always be there. Shout out to Chris Eubanks Sr. Although he's cringe at times, I agree with him. It's a gentleman's sport. It's a gentleman's sport.
Can I just, before you say, Ray, I just want to throw out, and again, shout out to Echo, man, and shout out to, I always try to explain this to Claymore, and when we were talking last night, I was explaining to him how you got to flip your brain in the way you watch boxing in 2025, right? But the thing that we're seeing, or the thing that people get mad at, how can Canelo have dinner with Crawford? That's just normal, man, in the UK. I have literally seen like the club fights where it was a close fight. One guy might have felt like they were robbed, the other guy, and they're talking to each other during the live broadcast about putting maybe a rematch together, but they can go have a beer after, or they can go hang out after, because out there in the UK where Echo's at, they treat it as sport. And it can be personal, like Eubanks doesn't like Conor Benn, but it's still sport. It's still sport. We don't have to talk about domestic violence, this or any of this other stuff that happens. That's only in the US, man. I'm sorry. That's only in the US that stuff like that happens. It's the TMZ era.
Norman Sr., after they little fight, and they went out. Brian Norman showed Drag Hackett around Atlanta. They went out to dinner. They went to the strip club. They said they had a ball.
Right, man. There's no reason it can't happen that way, man. Nah, there's no reason there can't be some respect, because I think there was a point in time where athletes kind of had role model jackets to wear a little bit, right? They kind of had to, we understood that children idolized Michael Jordan and idolized a Charles Barkley, who said, "I'm not your kid's role model." but you know what I mean. But there was a point in time where that was kind of expected, right? I remember when boxing press conferences used to be, the guys used to wear suits at the press conferences, right? They literally dress in their best Sunday and they Sunday's best. And, they carried themselves in a certain way because there was already understanding that, in my opinion, that it was a savagery about the sport already on a surface level. And we didn't want to enforce that by acting like animals on the stage. We wanted to show them that there was a certain honor amongst, I don't want to say thieves, but there was a certain warrior spirit that we wanted to know. Yeah, a gladiator spirit that we wanted you to know that, we are here doing this work, but, I could speak well. I mean, you can remember Mike Tyson trying to articulate his words well. He tried. You know what I'm saying? He Custom Model obviously infused that in him, like, yo, bro, don't be out here acting like a fool. You know what I mean? So that the sport is missing that. I'm looking forward to see the sport go in that direction and continue to move in that direction. I love the way Shakur handled himself. At points in time, Conor kind of got in his feelings. Shakur said, "Hey, man, we're boxers, bro." Remember, he had that moment. He's like, "Let's keep it there, bro. We're boxers, bro. There's no problem. You're supposed to feel like you could beat me. I obviously think I could beat you. But let's talk about how we can make this happen, man. Let's make this happen, bro. Because I believe just as strongly about what I'm saying as you do about what you're saying. We know that we got to handle it in the ring. But I like you. You like me. I have respect for you. I love everything you're doing. The fact that I'm pushing for this fight to happen is a respect towards you. Matter of fact, let's look at it for what it is. I have so much respect for you that I want to fight you.
What we need to bring back those days, man. That being said, bring this full circle and back into the topic at hand. I am interested in what fights you guys are interested in this week, because I agree with Echo, by the way. I'm interested in all the fights, but damn it, it's a lot of damn fights. and some of them are going to be on at the same damn time, and they're going to have to be some decisions made about which fight you watch. And I'm interested in what fight you guys are interested over. We got to do triage. I know you don't want to pick, but you got to, because it's too many damn fights. It's too many damn fights. So which fight is the fight, man? Which fight is the fight that you're looking forward to this weekend, and why? You said Bam.
The Bam one. The Bam one.
Why the Bam one?
Because it's not so clear cut. This guy's not a bad fighter, and he's got good power, and he's a decent fighter, and anything can happen. You know, when you get a guy that's on the tear, you know, knocking people out or whatever, you don't believe he can be, you know, lose. So when I see a guy that's not overrated, but you know that is justified being a decent fighter, just like, you know, the fight with what's his name, it's fighting at the weekend, you know, Usyk and Dubois. I'm not saying Dubois is going to get, you know, he's not got a chance, but I believe that Usyk's going to win.
Right. But the age thing, right? Like, I think Usyk on paper is supposed to win. I think he's just a better boxer. At what point does the age kick in? Is it kicking this fight?
The only odd fights he's had with the AJ really and Fiore. I mean, other than that, I mean, he's still young. He's still a young 38, and 38 is not old for a heavyweight. It's not.
Hey, Echo, can I ask you this? If Dubois does beat Usyk, which I'm actually, the bet is too high in the U.S. right now to not bet on Dubois. And I've always said that in heavyweight boxing, anything can happen. Anything can happen, right? I don't think anybody's doing the Buster Douglas odds anymore, because they know this for a fact that anything can happen. But the Dubois odds here in Las Vegas right now is plus 300. That's just too much money. And I remember when it was plus. I remember, Echo, when Daniel Dubois versus Anthony Joshua, amazing event. When the Vegas odds came out, it was plus 450. Looked at my wife and I was like, babe, I gotta put something in here. And she literally talked me out of it, Echo, because I honestly believed that Dubois would have a chance. But plus 450 is just too much odds, right? And then what happened? I lost out on a big jackpot because, you know, Claymore, I got to listen to the wife, man. She controls the finances, bro.
Listen, man, happy wife, happy life, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Echo, if Dubois does it, and if Dubois beats it, Usyk's the pound for pound ring number one. Where do you put Dubois now? Is Dubois automatically number one?
It's all timing. At the end of the day, the only reason why Dubois is given any chance is because of his previous 3 fights. That's it. But those fighters have got nothing in common with Usyk, stylistic wise. This is why it's like the triangle theory. No, hardly any triangle theory works. You know what I mean? Very rarely it happens. You know what I mean? So obviously there are times, you know, you think, well, yeah, this guy. If that was the case, you know, you could say, well, Sugar Ray Leonard would have beaten whoever, but he lost to Duran, and Duran was beaten by everybody. You know what I mean? So it's not like he was beaten by Hearns, you know, and Sugar Ray and Hagler, but he was the only one to beat Leonard. You know,
right?
But I think it's a stylistic man. You know, also Dubois doesn't fight so well when he gets struck hard. He kind of freezes. And I think sometimes, you know, you've got to be able to pull that trigger all the time, you know, be able to let it go. And also, the fight in Poland, he didn't really win any rounds, really. And I mean, a lot of people say it was a low blow, whatever. It's not a low blow. You know, everyone's got their own opinion about that. But if Dubois is banking on that, it's a big mistake, because I think he's going to go into it too emotional. Like I said with Serrano, remember I said, Clay?
Yeah,
too emotional.
Yep.
And you know, I mean, I couldn't have picked that. I couldn't have picked that fight any better and predicted the way it would be beat. You know,
I didn't think Amanda would keep her hands in her pockets the way she did, or at least, you know, get concerned with the distance as much as she did. She really
because she's not got good distance in play. That's the thing.
it was
She's not
horrible.
good. When you're moving in and out, and you feint properly. I mean, really, a true feint is when you adjust the foot speed and also the length of the hand and also the length of the speed of the hand. When you do that, you don't become herky jerky. When you become herky jerky, somebody will react to that because they're nervous.
Yeah.
But if you watch Ngannou, he didn't react to the feints from Fury because he's so used to the long feints when it comes to MMA. For the takedown, you do a long one and come in and do a double leg or whatever. And that I knew that wouldn't work. That jerky stuff. And also with Dubois, he's just got to throw caution to the wind a little bit. You know, just throw some shots, but be what's it? Be careful of that. Be careful of that jab, because that would be the problem for him, the jab. Just like it was with the right hand with what was it? Ergovic. Yeah.
Right. He was getting sniped with that right hand for those first couple of rounds, though. It took him a while to get used to it. But that made me be like, he's a real threat, because I was like, damn, he could take some punishment.
The thing is, though, what it is with a lot of fighters, they say somebody's fast. I mean, look at somebody like Gary Russell Jr., right? He's a speedster. But I guarantee you, anybody that's going to fight him back in the day, like when Lomachenko fought him, it took a while for Lomachenko to get used to the speed. It's the same thing like a baseball player. The guy pitches the ball. Eventually, that ball starts getting slower and slower and slower the more he sees it. So sometimes you have to get used to the speed. That's what happened to Farmer. He didn't get used to the speed. You know, when he fought
Schofield. When you fought Schofield, you're talking about?
Yeah.
He went from Cepeda, who was kind of like a knuckleballer, and then he went right into Schofield, who's a fastball pitcher, and there was no in between.
He didn't give him any time to adjust to the speed.
Yeah, exactly.
He just jumped right on him.
Well, you think about it. If you're driving a car 90 miles an hour, right, or then you all of a sudden, it seems quick, obviously 90 miles an hour. You speed up to 150, you go back down to 50, you feel like you get out the car and walk.
Right.
It seems that way, doesn't it? But obviously, you're not able to do that.
Yeah, it
but
feels
it just
like
seems it's going so slow now.
Miles an hour, like almost too slow, like unbearably slow.
Exactly. So, that is why it's difficult to adjust to fast fighters, because it's very difficult. Power is something you can train for, because you can get a bigger guy in there, like a light heavyweight, to spar a welterweight. So it's a lightweight. You put a middleweight in there, it's going to hit the hardest welterweight, maybe, or lightweight, maybe. But the speed is not going to be there. I mean, that's why Camacho and these guys were nightmares to fight. And Sugar Ray Leonard and all Roy Jones Jr., it's the speed.
Right.
Hey, Echo.
It's difficult to adjust to that.
Let me put something out there. Shout out to everybody in the building. 46 people in the building. I appreciate you guys. Please hit the like button. Appreciate you and thank you in advance for doing that. And obviously, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, take an opportunity to go ahead and do that. Go ahead, Reyes. When you're done, I want to go ahead and bring in Antoine, and I also want to bring in Adele in here. By the way, Adele, assalamu alaikum, family. I didn't greet you when you came in here, man.
I just wanted to push back a little on Echo with just the counter, since we're on the Usyk Dubois point, and I think the panel will like this. So a lot of the reasons why I actually do believe Dubois will beat him this time is, and I just want to throw this out to the panel so that they can respond. The first time they fought was 2 years ago. Dubois was 25 years old, and if you rewatch the fight, and I was rewatching it just a few hours ago, that was an inches and angles type fight. It was very close. It was inches and angles in every scheme of any 10-second period of the entire fight, if you rewatch it, Echo. And that's the only time I've ever seen Usyk get hurt. I never saw him got hurt against Anthony Joshua. Never saw him got hurt against Tyson Fury. That's the only time I've seen Usyk, other than Beterbiev, maybe in the amateur.
He got hurt against
Fury. He got hurt by Fury with uppercut. He did.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But I'm talking about like on the ground, actual pain.
Okay.
And
Yeah, but
it
that was
should
a
have been
low. That
called
was a low blow.
okay.
I don't think
Let's
so,
let's
but
say it was.
hey.
I mean, it's belt line, but let's just say it was.
Oh,
Sure.
Echo, you thought it was low?
Yeah, I've seen the fight from different angles. It was definitely in below the top belt line, so it was really in the cup near the bladder.
No, but okay, so I'm glad you said that, right?
And he landed the punch that vertical. It wasn't horizontal; it was vertical. Look at the punch. So his bottom knuckles are going to be even further down.
Okay, but at the beginning of that fight, the ref said that the line was the belt line, not above the belt line. It was right on the belt line. So if he hit him right on the belt line, right, like you said, right below the top of the belt line, I think that punch was
No,
not.
it was below the bottom.
Or you mean like the bottom knuckle because he punched that way?
Yeah, because it was in the bladder.
This sounds like the tuck rule to us. Just so that you know,
Yeah.
just so you know, Echo. It sounds like the tuck rule.
I'm gonna do. What I would say is the best way to really judge.
This debate right here runs through the boxing space every other day, bro. I mean, me and Ray have put that video on here, slow motion in every angle, and I remember we had Fight Sports Talk from New Zealand up here. And he was going at it. Don't you see? He had the same thing you said. So I see what you got. There's a consistency amongst like the scholarship about why it was a low blow. People count that bottom knuckle, and like you said, that punch and that bottom knuckle. I mean,
the tuck rule. It's a tuck rule, man.
You don't have to get it. You don't have to get it in the balls, right? To have it a low blow.
I mean, you're right. I agree with that, but you know. I mean, look, we can't change it. It is what it is, right? I'm sure Daniel's gonna be working on turning that hand a little bit next time he throws that low blow. But yeah, man, I agree. I'm gonna let Reyes finish building what he said as well.
So to finish my point, to land it so that the panel can answer. My point is, I think that Usyk was actually the hardest young talent he had fought up to that point. Because Tyson Fury's old, Anthony Joshua was old, and now 2 years later, all right, because you mentioned the whole, Dubois fought these three. You forgot to mention the fact that right before that, he fought Usyk, and he did knock him down, whether it's low or not, whatever. Tuck rule, I say as a Raider fan, tuck rule. But with that said, now you got a young 27-year-old Dubois whose confidence is super high. He's fighting at a Wembley stadium that's his house now. He just knocked out Anthony Joshua in front of 96,000 people. He's not scared. That's his house. Usyk is coming to his house. So now at plus 300, if y'all got money, man, that's a little too much.
I'm taking that. I'm taking that.
That is a good bet.
Yeah, man. I'm loving it. I'm telling you, for me, this is the most intriguing fight for the weekend. I mean, there's a lot of fights, man. And listen, I can't argue with nobody else's picks because there's so many fights. Listen, bro, I'm not even finished, but I'm gonna be real with you. I'm looking at this fight because I think heavyweight boxing is making a return if it's not already back. You got the young Daniel Dubois bringing in this new era of potentially being the leader of this new era of boxing to lead the Moses Atumas, to lead the whoever wins between Jared Anderson and Big Baby Miller, to lead to lead all these up and coming Martin Bacolis, Ajit Kabayels, you know what I'm saying? These fighters that are going to make their mark in the heavyweight division. And I just feel like the stars are aligning. And I think a star is about to be born. I think there's going to be a new king crowned in the best way possible. Oh, look, man, we've been talking, and I want to include the rest of the panel in this conversation. So I want to bring in Anton into this conversation. And Adele's been sitting there, and I hope he's enjoying the conversation, hearing what he's hearing. But I'm sure he has a lot that he wants to
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he wants to go ahead and contribute something to the conversation. But Anton, where you at, man? What's the fight for the weekend, man? What's the fight this weekend that you got your eyes on right now, man?
I always love to watch Bam fight, but I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I want Dubois to get his shine, man. I really do. We can go back and forth about this low blow like we just was going. I mean, I thought it was just a you know, it belt line, but I just thought he timed it so perfectly. I believe Usyk was expecting the uppercut, and he hit that body, and he just caught him off guard and knocked the wind out of him. I'm hoping that man gets his shine this weekend, and I think he should come out with a what's the guy you just said that Fort thing?
The just
The
for
dude
what?
from German. What's the guy that stopped
A G?
Zane?
A G
Pacquiao.
A G.
Yeah, I think
Pacquiao.
he needs to come out with an approach like that, man. Invest in that body real early. We all know Usyk do not like body shots. Even when Tyson Fury was hitting with some body shots, Usyk kept trying to cry to the ref and saying that he was punching him low, and he wasn't. He just don't like getting hit in the body. Hope Daniel Dubois really go in there and make a statement, man. And you know, boxing go as the heavyweight division goes. So if
Yes.
the heavyweight division can get back on track, and we got a young, talented, you know, hungry, like Ray said, man, he's smiling in his he's happy as ever, man. He's on top of the world right now. So I love to see the bounce back that he came off of that loss. And I do feel as though like he was stopped because he probably felt as though that he stopped and would have hurt Usyk. And after that, I think his confidence was just gone. And like, I think he could have got up from that shot that Usyk hit him with. I just think his confidence was gone, man, and he just was done with it. So to see him bounce back, get up off that canvas, and to put on these last 3 impressive wins, I think he's going to shine on Saturday night. And I think Bam is going to get the job done too. Like, I'm going to have to watch something on my phone and something on the TV.
Yeah, make it happen,
It's
right?
a lot. It's a lot of fights, man. With Dubois, I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on the money line, and I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit on a separate bet on the knockout, and see what happens.
See what sticks. I like it, man. And by the way, Daniel Dubois, man, bro, watching him smile and be so happy and excited, I don't know, bro. I'm just so happy for him. The young guy, the young man growing up to be a grown man, bro. You can't just help but just be happy for him and cheer for him, bro, because he came out his shell, damn it. In the last week, he just came out, bro, right? His father must have told him something. I don't know what it was, but, you know, he just doing him. He doesn't care, man. Awkward moments that we've seen Daniel Dubois in. I'll never forget on the press conference with him and Anthony Joshua, and Anthony Joshua trying to talk to him, right? And Anthony Joshua was like, right, Daniel? Right? And he's like, what? Oh yeah, man. Whatever you like, you know what I mean? Just in that moment. Now I think he might be on the spectrum a little bit. I don't know, but I love watching him be happy.
I do
think
see that a little bit.
It might be a little bit. I don't know, right?
Yeah.
But you just want him to do well, man. You want him to win, man. So you want him to
he's
win
a
in life,
likable
even if he
guy,
doesn't
man.
win the fight necessarily. Just in life, you're just happy for him to see him do his thing. Shout out to everybody in the building. 46 people in the building. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet. Ray, which is the fight for you? Did you say Bam? Was it Bam for you? No, you said Gary. You said Gary.
I said Gary because I believe the comeback's going to be an important factor. I think that you're going to see him start a little slow. I think he's going to turn up. He's going to show that he still has it. I mean, he has a lot to prove. And it's hit or miss. And here's the thing, it's hit or miss for him. If he doesn't do those things, does he hang it up? You know what I mean? Does this guy beat him? Does, you know, somebody that we don't even know of beat him and get the accolades and move forward? But my second fight was the Bam Rodriguez fight because it's a unification fight for 3 belts. I think it's a dangerous fight on the other end of Cafu. I think Cafu has a lot going for him in his favor to the fact that he's very fast. He's a real hard puncher. I just think Bam is he shows such an electric style. When I say electric, I mean y'all know what I mean, right? Like he's
Pacquiao like, right? Pacquiao.
Right.
He's like a southpaw Duran and Pacquiao.
It's like the lights turn on. What was remember The Rock? How he said he was electrifying? Mm-hmm. That's the electric style he brings to the ring. Like when he's going to fight, people pay attention. He came to Philly. No one knew who he was on the East Coast, and people fell in love with not fight. You. Okay, let me be correct. A lot of people locally did not know who Ben was because they're
you're right
fans.
about that. Yeah,
and when he turned out the lights in that place, people were talking about him for weeks. Oh man, who is this guy? Blah blah blah. It resonated. So Bam could be the biggest fight of the weekend. I think he will get tuned in. He's on the only free card of the weekend, I believe. I don't know if Amazon's doing the free card, But if they are, I definitely don't see it competing with the Rodriguez fight. Maybe the fact
that's another story, right? I think the PBC is gonna have a hard time selling that damn expensive pay-per-view this weekend.
Right.
I'm gonna be
That's
honest.
what I'm saying. So
that shit on pay-per-view?
Yeah, bro.
That's what I'm saying. So I think that right there, to say the least, is going to be another problem.
Let me make sure, but I'm almost positive it's pay-per-view.
No, it is. So I'll tell you guys what it is. In Amazon Prime, I believe they're selling it as high as $90 in some region.
And that,
and the thing is, and here's the and we I discussed this on another panel the other day. The problem with PBC is they keep just thinking that they're or Amazon or whoever, they keep thinking they're worth what the boxing fans have been getting for free. And when I say for free, I mean on Saturday night last week, we paid what, $45 because we did the bundle. But the very next day on Sunday night, all the fights were free on the Ring Magazine YouTube.
Right.
And I was sending it to my friends already. I was like, hey, since y'all didn't see it live, here you go. Right. If Amazon would at least do something like that, or if PBC would at least do something like that, then that would be great.
Right.
But because they keep doing this greed, they're done, man. They're
I'm a
done.
fan
I'm sorry.
of the PBC, but I'm not paying for that BS. I'm sorry.
No.
Well, let me tell you something. what Angelo just said, man, is so. It speaks to what me, Ray, a lot of people we've been speaking. You know, obviously we get a lot of pushback for holding the PBC accountable for this, but bro, that is so boxing. Like when you're talking about growing a sport, when you're talking about being in a position where you're losing networks, where you're losing the interest of a fan base in America, what's going to be needed to build boxing back up? It's going to take some sacrifice, some concession, and you're going to have to give the fan content. Being a bloodsucker, taking the money, refusing, making it to where they had to pay for every single damn event is so toxic. It makes you almost want to see the PBC fail. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to see them fail, but I just want to just share the content that's there for the boxing fan who wants to watch boxing, for the space that needs boxing to grow, to see you just hold boxing to your chest that way and squeeze pennies and dollars out of fans and refuse to give them anything, bro. It's diabolical, bro. Right. Adele, Addo, what's up, brother? How you doing, man? Are you there?
Yeah, man, I'm here, man. Assalamu alaikum to the panel, man. Appreciate all the info.
Yeah.
Wow, man. Y'all got it, man. What's going on? Clay and Ray, man, y'all hold it down on a good platform. You know what I'm saying? Y'all the crash out team, man. I appreciate y'all, man. CR in the house, baby. You know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta get a hat, you know what I'm saying? Like Colorado Rockies with the CR on it. Y'all the Colorado Rockies, man. I need to see that next time, bro.
All right, we need to work out the merch. You ain't lying. You ain't lying. We got to work out the merch. You're right.
Hey, for the people I've been getting into it, you know, casual, I still need y'all to start off y'all watch fight weeks or weekends that's coming up with some information on where to hit, what's scored, because when I watch the USA and other international boxing on YouTube, they broke down like on a dummy. They used a dummy and showed what's points. You know what I'm saying? Where would the points be located at? So maybe if y'all can get like a little dummy before the fight for us novice, you know, for us, you know, casual fans, so we can know, you know, that we're not counting these Canelo hits, you know, as a point. You know what I'm saying? Because some people just punching and we're counting this. Anybody got a rebuttal to that? Let's go ahead.
So for instance, in my opinion, I think if you actually just listen to the referee when he gives instructions in the ring, just for that Usyk take, right? I was going to say that's how you can actually measure the belt line for Usyk. If you go back to that fight, watch
he has his short time too, though.
Right, measure where he tells him he can hit him. Because if he puts his hand at the bottom of his waistline, then guess what? That's all game. As far as like what counts and what doesn't, usually shots to the shoulder, shots to the elbows, forearms, arms, things like that, they usually don't count them. But if you're reluctant to throw back and things like that based on aggression and high volume, they can count them. It's all up discretion to the judges. So for me, Clay, Echo, Reyes, or Antoine, anybody to really go into what should be counted and what is up to discretion. Because
it's a line down the side of the head, looking behind the back of the head.
Right.
Down the bottom.
And we also
not in the kidneys, no kidney shots, none of that stuff.
And we also got to understand that they judge boxing off of more than people just punching. It's brain generalship, pressure. There's a lot of things that go into judging a fight. See, when you just said like Canelo punching shoulders, arms, Canelo really do that to break you down to get you to open up.
Correct.
Now, what William Zepeda was doing was a little bit different. Canelo tries to bruise you up. You see what happened to Bivol arm. He does that to try to break you down and drop your guard.
Right.
So it's effective sometimes for him.
Can I also just say, too, that boxing is the most subjective sport of all of them because there's no other sport. There's no other sport in where you could be losing 11 rounds, win on the 12th round. There's also no other sport in the world that you could have Manny Pacquiao beating the hell out of Timothy Bradley, and then at the end we go, "What the hell just happened?" Right? So there is.
I agree with that 100%.
Right. Now I say that to just say this, and again, man, I keep giving Echo the props for the UK, but I believe that the British Boxing Board of Controls has the best judges, just in my opinion. Just watching boxing all the time, they just have at least they give you a format. They give every fighter a format of, hey, this is the way we're scoring it. So you fight how you fight, but this is the way we're scoring it. And in the US, man, you can go to Texas. Them judges that Bam's going to deal with are very different than the judges that Manny's going to deal with here in Vegas, which is very different than the judges that Usyk and Dubois is going to deal with. So I don't know if, truthfully, if Ray and Claymore could really even break it down for you because it's all the same. It's like I think that you have to go back to the beginning of time, and at the end of the day, if we're watching a backyard fight, who's whooping whose ass is who we think is winning the fight.
Right.
And judges are human.
All I can do is offer my scorecard, bro, and hope that it's aligned with the people who make the big decision. There's no, like the Subriel Matias fight this weekend, right? You know what I mean? I'm scoring this fight. You know what I mean? I'm giving Subriel Matias rounds, and I see what Alberto Puello's doing, but I'm also trying to be honest and say that aesthetic, on the outside looking in, I can see where Puello's winning this fight, but I can also see where the body language and the generalship of Subriel Matias pushing Puello back to the ropes and just how that looks to the judges. And I told people, I think they're going to give Subriel Matias this fight. Now, but at the same time, I don't want to go back on my words, but I also see where Puello won the fight. I saw him having the cleaner, more effective punches. How are the judges seeing it? I don't know. What's the politics behind it? Who do they want to win going into the fight? I know people don't like to talk about it, but that's part of the politics of the sport. That's why they say the great fighters, what do they say? Take it out the hand of the judges. You know what I'm saying? If you really want to win the fight,
don't did you score the Morrell fight?
100%.
How did you score the Morrell fight?
I had the Morrell fight going into the final round, a draw. Going into that final round, I feel like the person who won that final round won the fight. Most people feel like Katiev won the fight. You know what I'm saying? They just feel like he won the fight, was more fit, especially with that knockdown. I thought that David Morrell started having more cleaner punches as in the middle of the rounds. I thought he hurt Katiev at one point in those rounds because Katiev the conditioning started kicking in and he started to slow down. I had a draw going into that final round. People were like, robbery. They thought Katiev won it and thought it was a robbery, bro. I'm telling you.
I hate when people say it was a close fight, then say it was a robbery. How was it close and then it's a robbery? That don't even make sense.
Well, to be fair though, on the Katiev versus Morrell, if you scored it the way Clay scored it, and I'm hearing that Clay must have scored it 6-4 for Morrell at least, is the way he's seeing it, right? But in my eyes, if you score it, let's say 5-5, then Katiev won because of the knockdown. Right. So if it's a 5-5, but are you really saying? Is anyone here in the panel really saying that Katiev didn't win more than 3 rounds? And
no,
that's I think the issue.
I gotta look at my scorecard.
I think I had him exactly 3 rounds. Believe it or not.
I gave
Okay.
him 4. I gave him 4.
I
I
got it
did
written down
6-4.
right here, actually.
Okay. Cool.
Morrell
Yeah,
definitely won the 10th round.
2, 4, 5.
Okay.
Well,
All right. All right.
got
Did you
mine.
see that?
And,
Echo, I'm sure you saw that fight.
I gave him 5 rounds. I gave Katiev 5 rounds.
So if you gave
I
Kate
got
5
my
rounds,
points, my
he won on
scores,
your
all that
scorecard.
stuff added up.
So
And the scores and everything, write it
Claymore,
down.
just so that you know, if you scored at 5, then that means Katayev won on your scorecard because of the 10-8 knockdown.
Yep.
No, you're right. Going into that final round. Hold on a second. I'm telling you.
Echo, how did you score it, by the way? The Katayev
I
Morel.
haven't seen it. I didn't watch that fight.
Oh,
Antonio
sorry, we're
Tarver,
ruining it for you.
Antonio
I only watched the Hamza fight live because I didn't even watch the Stevenson fight live.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
you know what I
Antonio
messed
Tarver
up?
made
I
a
watched that.
You know
I
what
woke
messed
up
up?
late. I
I didn't
woke
count that
up
10-8
late
round. I didn't count
about
it
5
as
o'clock
10-8.
in the
I
morning
counted
and watched Stevenson after.
We had a draw.
Clay, what you just said, Antonio Tarver made a good point. He said up until Katiev dropped Morel was dominating that round.
That's what I was.
So the judges could have scored that a 9-9 round.
Right.
Yeah.
It would have been 9-8. It would have been 9-8.
That's a good point.
Either way,
That's a good point.
9-8.
Yeah,
That's why I said
Very
it
yeah,
put it at 1 point.
Well, and if it was
And,
9-8, to your point, Ray, if it was a 9-8 round, then Claymore would be right. It'd be a
Right.
draw.
Right.
But
And he was
that's
winning it.
my
He was.
point, is that there's no way Katayev only scored 3 rounds.
Yeah, no,
That's
No,
my
no,
point.
no.
I scored it. I scored it 3 for him because I seen the aggression, but I didn't see anything clean landing. I thought he was really trying to, he got some nice clean shots. I think in the third, he started putting some pressure on in the fourth, and I think he even hurt him. I'm going to say that round. Actually, that round he knocked him down was the 6th round. So I gave him those 3 rounds. 5th round.
Fifth
Okay,
round.
I gave him those 3 rounds, and then the rest I think he did enough to stay out of range of Katiev. Even though he engaged with him, I thought he stayed enough to stay out of range and use his punching. So I was giving him edges on that because I thought his punches were a lot cleaner. You see Katiev's head popping back a lot. And then when he even attacked the body of Katiev was dropping his hand. So it showed effectiveness in his punches. So I was literally giving him those rounds. Again, all judges are different, right? Michael Westfield from New Jersey. I don't own, I'm from Jersey. I disown that guy because he always gets it wrong. And I think his is entitled to judge it. But if we go through the record books of him, a lot of people question his wide margins in the judging. And most of his fights are all wide margins. So, it's just something that's crazy. I'm not saying he's wrong on the winner of the fight, but he's always got that 111, 117. You're like, where'd that come from? And it's a close fight all the time.
So check it out, Ray. I got two more comments, and I'm gonna drop the mic. I've been liking the balance of what I call ping pong in tennis fights. Right, the ping pong is sitting in a pocket, and I'm gonna make you miss, and we just gonna slug it out. People refer that to a Mexican style, which is really insult to all the great Mexicans because they didn't fight like that. But I guess, hey, I don't know why that is an insult because all the greatest ones didn't fight like that.
We'll see.
But the tennis fight, you know what I'm saying.
Fighter style, like more of a.
That's how they want to sell other people, but it's really not true. And then the tennis style is more of the Shakur using the real estate. So I think we're getting more of a better ping pong matches. Sit in the pocket in more of tennis styles when we're going to use the whole real estate. And I think that was real good. And then my second comment is I like what Turkey is doing. He's doing like a battle of the Atlantic. He's putting a lot of this side, people against this side of the people and seeing who really is the dominant of this sport. And I think the America's finally getting tested from dominating all these damn decades, that we finally get real opponents coming from, Jamaica, from Saudi Arabia, from all over Europe, from Africa, and Battle of the Atlantic, man. This is what he's doing. So I kind of see what he's doing. I appreciate it. I'll lay my
but hey, before you leave, I just want you to hear this. To your point,
Okay.
Number one, when it comes to Mexican style boxing, which I always believe is a ridiculous terminology, probably the greatest or definitely top 3 is Salvador Sanchez. And
Right.
Salvador Sanchez was very much a tennis style, as you would say it, and not a ping pong style. So that's the first thing to your point. The second thing is, and I said this to Claymore offline, and I when I was trying to explain this to him last night about you got to flip your brain now into how you watch boxing in 2025. I'm sorry to say it, y'all. USA is the most behind when it comes to boxing, and everyone else outside the United States are fighting killers, right? And I told him, I said, Hamza Shiraz was an easy favorite for the simple fact that his resume, he was fighting killers in the UK.
Yeah.
And just because you're American and you don't know who Tyler Denny is, and you don't know who, like, even the fact that you're American, you didn't know who Ammo Williams was. Ammo Williams is a killer, bro. Like, he's not, he's good. He's good. He needs to get better, but he's good. And here's the other thing about that. In the UK, they're not afraid to take a loss. And not even the UK.
Right.
The US, they're not afraid to take a loss. I was saying to Claymore last night that we started the year with David Nika, who, if he was a USA fighter, they would have been protecting his ass for 10 more fights.
Oh, man, he'd been PC.
He's a New Zealand guy, and he was like, I'll fight Jai Apataya. How are you going to have David Nika fight Jai Apataya, and no one is holding Zurdo Ramirez to the fire for doing a standoff with Jake Paul? Come on, y'all. Are you really saying you're a real boxing fan if you're going to accept that BS, right? And my final point to this, again, man, is USA, look, we dominate 135 to 154. I'll respectfully say that right now because we have probably the most born and raised talent and champions from 135 to 154. Not to say that they couldn't get beat, but every other country has all the other ones. Japan got all the lower divisions. Mexico, right? The UK, Eastern Europe got all the 160s and above. The heavyweights could be anyone's game except the United States. We don't got one good heavyweight. We don't got one. one. And I'm sorry to say. Go ahead, though.
Yeah. My bad. Well, I forgot one more thing. And I think Picasso and Kamet is going to be the best fight of the weekend. I forgot to say that.
Okay, I like that. Okay, so Picasso and Kamet.
Picasso and Kamet.
What
David Picasso, he's the number one mandatory to for the
You said who?
David Picasso,
I'm gonna keep it 100.
Yeah, no, guys, come on. Claymore, Ray, you guys are hurting our feelings.
Good.
I ain't got no shame in my game. Acting like I know what's going on. I'm gonna know what's going on, damn it, because I'm gonna know what's going on.
David Picasso is El Tiger. El Tigre.
Okay. I know El Tigre. So you think that fight's gonna be the fight?
I think that's gonna be the fight of the night. I'm not saying these are the best ones on the card. I'm saying this is going to be. I seen David. He's not Mexican style fighter. He uses real estate. I really like how he moves. Kamet is a come forward fighter, and I think it's going to be more of a tennis fight. But I enjoy tennis matches. I like the Wimbledon, so sue me.
Right. Yeah, you never wrong with that. I was going to back up. I was going to back up what Reyes was saying, man. I like what he was saying about the whole cross the pond. I like the analogy of the ping pong to the tennis. And I always say that the boxer puncher is that person that likes to stand in the box. They know how to be elusive at the same time, be able to punch out of it and punch in it. Avoid punches and big shots while they're in the pocket and things like that. You have the tennis. I guess the tennis guy would be the guy that's able to adapt, and their adaptability allows them to fight different ways and be versatile. I'll use that word versatile. But for the most part, they don't like getting hit because they're too busy being pretty. And I get it. I get what you're saying. I'm okay with that. And I think that's where, like you just said, and you took the words out of my mouth when you said that, they don't worry about their O's. And that's the biggest thing. The biggest, and me and Clay talked about this multiple times. The biggest challenge to an American slick fighter is the Eastern European. Why? because they stand on business. They know how to box. They're pretty much good footwork. They know how to move at the waistline, and they know how to punch and counter as well. So they look for they're able to pick their shots with a slick fighter. You do have a lot of fighters that are flat-footed, but some fighters are flat-footed or what they call power punchers or boxer punchers. They're there because they know how to put their head down in between that high guard and punch in between punches. That's a big difference in breakdowns of fights. I like your analogy. I'm telling you, that's the best way I've ever seen that. I like the Battle of the Atlantic. Let me see what else I wrote down, because you gave me some food for thought. I wrote a lot of stuff down as y'all was building over there. I mean, the World Cup of Boxing says a lot when you say the Battle of Atlantic. I mean, look what we're seeing across that with the Grand Prix. I think that itself is something. You know what I mean? Just seeing the different people come from different atmospheres of the earth and how they're able to culminate great matches. And now you're up to the semifinals right now, and I think coming up in August. So
WBC World Cup,
this is really turning out to be exactly what you guys are talking about. And we're starting to see young talent because they're being put in these positions where they're fighting for money. These are the guys that haven't made the money yet. They haven't got their star power because of their names and being in the Olympics or things like that. These are guys building their careers off of I want that prize money, and I'm going to fight for it. And it gives them a dream and a goal, because guess what? They're going to get a contract out of it. Many of them are, because they're going to say, oh, this guy could fight. Yeah, he took a loss, but you know what? This guy can turn around and be a great champion, loss or not. And that's how promoters really look at fighters. They don't look at fighters of who's going to win, who's going to be undefeated. They look at who can get them the most money, who can bring it back home. And when they are a champion, how do they hold their title? Because everyone has to figure it out. And that's the thing that people don't realize. Losing helps you figure things out. Being on a draw helps you figure things out. Winning, you don't figure it out until someone punches you in the face, and then you got to figure it out. And either you do or you don't, and it's a bad night for you.
Right. You don't figure it out by having 17 first-round knockouts. That's not how you get better. That's not.
Somebody tell Canada we need some more competition down here to get ready for the UK. Canada, send some more belts.
We in America have to do a better job of stop trying to throw these fighters away after a loss.
Amen.
That
Amen.
coincides with the mentality of an American fighter, because they get on YouTube or they get on and see these media outlets that as soon as a guy loses, he's done. All of the greats lost. All of the greats have L's on their record. Sugar Ray Leonard to me is the greatest welterweight of all times.
Yeah. Right.
He has losses on his record. You know what I mean? The divisions was different back then. He has losses though. Muhammad Ali, who people still consider to this day the face of boxing. He's not even alive to this day. They have losses. We got to do a better job of, if a guy loses, we just
Clay could miss that one.
He's done. And then we go on and look for the next guy to jump on their bandwagon. No. Come on, man.
And to your point too, and actually, so I'll bring it up live now, but me and Claymore were talking about this privately last night when we were talking about Berlanga. And Claymore, I'm not trying to out you, bro, but you said
out him.
Okay, but Claymore said, man, Berlanga's got one more chance left. And it's Caleb Plant, and after that, man, I'm done with him. And that, sir, is the very attitude that differentiates the American.
I know why.
Wait, hold on. I don't know if I said I was done with him. Maybe I don't think I said I was done with him, but I was keeping it 100 though to say that in this, I was just being honest to say that in this space in America, in this boxing space, he's not going to get too much room to heal from what happened with Hamza, because he talked a lot. He built it up to be something. And this boxing space, and I'm just being honest, I'm standing on that. This American boxing space won't let him live.
Right.
He only gets so much room to make a mistake, and that's going toward what Anton is saying. Me personally, I have no problem watching Edgar Berlanga be redeveloped, audit, develop himself, build himself back up, and we can see him in 2 years back in the conversation of where he needs to be if he gets the right fights. But I'm just being honest.
So, well,
he got Caleb left. Without Caleb, he's going.
I don't think he's
pay the ultimate price, which is go to Pro Box,
because I'm gonna tell you right now, Eddie ain't messing with him, and I'm giving all the factors. Eddie ain't messing with him. Bob ain't messing with him. Oscar ain't messing with him. He's got to humble himself. He got to go over there with Paulie and Chris Algieri. He's got to become a star over there, make those fights happen, get those wins, and get the attention back. Is Edgar going to be willing to do that with that ego of his?
Now here's my counter to it. Just real quick, Ray. My counter to Claymore is that what I was saying is Edgar Berlanga is 28 years old. He's extremely marketable. He does have a fan base, like him or not, right? And let's be truthful. His jab was working if he would have just stuck to the jab instead of trying to, open up. And yes, he needs to learn more footwork. He needs to learn more, but he's also still in the developmental stages of it, right? So he could very well go to Jake Paul, be someone who they can build up, because Jake Paul, y'all, that MVP Promotions, they got some killers. And they got that Fredoville Macayo at 135. They got Lucas Body. They got some fighters, man. They got Pero at the heavyweight. They could get Berlanga too and rebuild his career. So he's not
done. They're gonna have to get him the fights, though. They're gonna have to get him the fights.
Right. And
the fights, man. I'm telling you, this American boxing space is so toxic, bro. Like they're gonna have to cross promote, get him those fights. And you know what Edgar Berlanga is? He's high risk, low reward, because he'll mess around and clip your boy. Whoever your boy is, Edgar will mess around and clip him. And if he's not bringing the big show, if he's not bringing the big money, if he's not bringing in titles, he's one of those fighters who 17 first-round knockouts, you don't throw your boy against him just like that. Hamza Shiraz, they gambled, and they did a great job. They knew he was ready for it, but he could have very well been derailed as well. So Edgar has to make it happen. He has the pressure on him, bro. That's what comes with the game. You put your stock all the way up here and said you the big money man. You got a lot of pressure on you now.
Right.
You better win against Caleb. You better make something significant happen. Or, like you guys said, if Jake Paul wants to do work with him, that's another conversation. But outside of that, pro box, baby.
Listen, this is what I had told you, right? And I think we talked about this, Clay, too, when I mentioned the whole Caleb Plant will be the fight for him. But I also have another stance on him. I think he needs to either move up to light heavyweight and just make a new name for himself. I think he'll, and you know what? I think he'll be more successful, or not successful, but more powerful.
1 second. Shelton Moore, let me just see your face, man. I feel like you've been up here before, but there've been dudes up here coming up here throwing dildos up on there and anything. You know what I'm saying? I just need to know who you are, brother. There he is. My guy. All right, man. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right. So I was saying that, yeah, man, at the end of the day, I think that if he moves to a light heavyweight division, I think he makes a better run at light heavyweight than a David Morrell right now, because I think that's really where he's truly supposed to be at. I think he's killing himself to be down there. I think his slower pace and the way he fights puts him better in a class there. He can time the fighters better. I think he's more reluctant to crash out and have all these moments. I think he's humble right now. Trust me when I tell you I think he's humble. He has no choice. He's like Jim Jones on the street corner right now. He's really humble. So at the end of the day, he really has to be a guy that needs to move up. If he can't get the Caleb Plant fight, he needs to go to a light heavyweight. He needs to campaign there. He needs to start middle of the road, if not the bottom. And I don't mean way at the bottom. I don't want to see him fighting Grimace again. But he needs to fight somebody like a Hot Rod or somebody, like you said, Pro Box. Start with Pro Box, maybe MVP, campaign at light heavyweight, and move around there. If he can move into the position of maybe even going later into maybe going back down. If he stays down and he fights Caleb Plant, and Caleb Plant needs to move up too. He's been there way too long. But if they can stay down there and they want to fight each other, more power, whoever loses is going to look really bad and should retire, because that's the way the public sees this, and it's not going to help their career. It's not going to help their career in the fan base of the United States. Now, another thing Edgar Berlanga has on his side is what everybody's been pointing to and alluding to. He can go overseas and make a stamp in Europe. Winky Wright did that. And Winky Wright was very successful going overseas and then bringing it back to the United States after he got acclimated into fighting and being able to get on a win streak and be, I think it was a European champion there, came back and he won a title. Yes, he was cheated against Fernando Vargas, but at the same time, and yes, he was cheated. He beat the boys off Fernando Vargas, but they wanted to keep that win streak alive. But because of that, he became a great champion where nobody wanted to fight him. I think even Bernard Hopkins had to lead to dirty tactics and headbutting him till he cut him in the head to win that fight. And that fight still was close. So, I mean, just to say that anything can happen, and I see there's a lot of future in Edgar Berlanga if he makes the right choices.
I agree. You guys, listen, it's about that time. I got an appointment. I got to go get my muffler fixed. It messed up. Just had some work done on my damn muffler. It didn't work. Hold on, I'm gonna bring you in, Shelton.
Y'all.
I'm gonna bring in Shelton so he can say his piece. Thank you guys. The panel was lit. You know how we carry it on here, man. I appreciate all you guys. The scholarship was A1. You know what I'm saying? Oh, and you know, Reyes, feel free to expose me, brother. Listen, man, I got no shame in my game, bro. It is what it is. I stand on I have no issues, brother. Trust me, man. It's all love. Shout out to I like the Jake Paul thing though, the MVP thing. I didn't take that into consideration, but it's unfortunate. So when I did speak to you last night, Reyes, I was keeping it real and just being honest about the space. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not.
I understood.
You know what I'm saying? I was just being honest about. It's unfortunate. You know what I mean? It's just what we live in, the world we live in, man. It's a mean boxing space in America, bro. And it shouldn't.
It's changing.
Yeah,
it's changing, brother. It's changing, and a lot of American fighters are going to Matchroom in Queensbury.
Yeah,
it's changing.
Well, I mean, with Edgar though, he kind of got the bridge burning thing going on with him. You know what I mean? He got
he dissed Eddie, and he dissed Oscar.
He talked a lot of ish, man. I don't know. That's the only thing with him. You know what I'm saying? That makes it kind of weird, but I mean, it is what it is. Go ahead, Shelton. Go ahead and drop your 2 cents, man, and then we're gonna keep it moving, man, because I got a 3 o'clock appointment.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, fellas. I just have to disagree with my man. Edgar, there is a chance for Edgar to redeem himself, but he got to change his whole attitude. All the talking and the N-word every other 5 seconds and all that garbage that's coming out of his mouth. Dude, you're trash. Your footwork is terrible. You have no defense. You have no jab. You're awful. You're not very good. You've never been very good. He hasn't. He's never been very good. You said it yourself, and this is the God honest truth. When you knock out 8 warehouse workers and 8 forklift drivers, you don't learn nothing.
Forklift drivers, not the forklift drivers.
He ain't learned nothing.
They got CDLs too.
And you saw, Claymore, when his competition started to step up, the knockout streak went away.
And the frustration.
Because he's not very good.
I'm dealing with it as well. The biting.
He's not very good. He needs to work on his fundamentals. He needs to work on footwork. He needs to work on the jab. He needs to change his whole style. Because if you remember the build up to this fight, you can hit me in the chin with a sledgehammer and nothing will happen. Okay. But this dude just hit you with 2 fists and you went out like a light. So, look.
So we do got to give Ray Davis credit, though, because Ray Davis said that Edgar Berlanga remarks about Eddie Hearn will come back to bite him in the ass. I remember you said that, right?
Shout out to Ray Davis. Yeah. Shout out to Ray Davis.
But that's an old saying. That's an old saying, fellas in the hood. You never know who you might need in this life. So be careful what you say about people, because you never know who you might need. Now, here's the thing. If he changes his attitude, he has a shot. But if he don't change his attitude, it doesn't matter what type of fighter he becomes. He's never going to be successful because his attitude turns people off.
Yep.
Nobody's going to want to put money behind a dude like that. He got to figure it out. He's a young, and let's stop giving him the excuse that he's a young kid. He's 28. You ain't been young for a long time, sir. You're 28.
Yeah,
you should know better.
Stay connected to the street stuff. That's what it is.
No, you need to go back to the streets, because we're not in the streets. We're in the boxing game.
Right.
We're in big business. We're not in the streets.
There's definitely a difference between a facade and living it, and he's trying to live it, man. It's one thing to sell yourself and to be all into that. Do your thing, man. But burning bridges with Eddie, burning bridges with Oscar, throwing all that stuff he was doing with Oscar was unnecessary. It didn't mean nothing. You're not fighting Oscar. You're not even fighting an Oscar fighter. You just showed that your lack of focus and your lack of etiquette. Now it came back to bite you, man. And like I said, and I told Ray Angelo last night, man, and I mean it, man. It's not for everybody. But Edgar Berlanga, in a particular situation he's put himself into, and the way he talked, and the way he burnt bridges, and what he did, it's going to be an uphill battle for him. He has a few options out there still, but he needs to capitalize. And unfortunately, he's put himself in a situation where if you don't win,
it might not look good for you, man. You're gonna have to go the pro box way, man, because you're gonna have to go somewhere that's willing to give you an opportunity to get the fans back. To
Right.
I don't know.
That's the best place for him. Whoever said that, that's the best place for him is pro box. That's the best place for him. Go down there, fight in front of 3,000-4,000 people, earn your way back. That's the best thing for him. Because if he gets in there with Caleb Plant and gets mollywopped, like I think he will, it's over. It's a wrap.
Yeah, and the reason I say Caleb, by the way, is because if you still want to, if his whole thing is I'm a superstar and he wants to get right back into the conversation of fighting a Jamal Charlo or getting a rematch with a Hamza Shiraz or fighting a Diego Pacheco, or if he wants to get right back into that conversation, Caleb Plant is the way he has to go. I don't think he should, though. I think he should humble himself, and I think he should build himself back up. But that ego is something nasty when you don't have it under control and you start to feel like, you know what I mean?
Clay, I think a good fight against
Claymore, real quick. I know you got to go to your appointment. And when we were doing the round robin and we were talking about, hey, what's the fight to watch? I never got to say my piece, so I just wanted to throw this one out there. I think that, again, boxing is a global sport. It's top 3 outside of the U.S. And just like what Echo had said, outside of the U.S., I definitely think that the fight to watch, and it's a close 50-50 because of the heavyweight significance of the Undisputed. But everyone outside the U.S. is watching Bam Rodriguez. And the reason why Bam Rodriguez is the fight to watch is because he's the Mexican-American version of the coming of Manny Pacquiao. And I say that to say that I agree with Ray Davis. Ray Davis made an excellent point in the beginning of the show when he was talking about Bam Rodriguez, and I was right there with him because I remember being Filipino, and I knew who Manny Pacquiao was, but a lot of y'all didn't. And then you saw him fight on the undercard of De La Hoya, and then you all were like, who is this guy? Pacquiao, right? Y'all couldn't pronounce his name, but that's how Bam Rodriguez was in Philly. Philly saw Bam Rodriguez and went, who is this guy? Wow, he's amazing. And now he's going to start to get that fan base. Now, on the American side, which is what Claiborne, we just live in this space. We live in the U.S. The most important fight, man, is Manny Pacquiao. And I'm just gonna throw it out there, and no one's gonna pay that $80-$90, whatever. Pirates life for everyone is what's gonna happen.
Fire stick boys.
That's another thing that BBC does, and I hate to be like that, but I'm on my way out. I gotta go, but that's another thing. You guys force people into that piracy. You guys destroyed the pay-per-view model. You destroyed it. You force people into these situations where they're stealing these fights because they want to see the fights, but you're charging these absurd amount of money. You're not packing the cards out. So what's happening? You're forcing people into stealing fights. And what happens when people steal? A wise man once said, why in the world should I pay for something I can get for free? That mentality starts to kick in. And the cards that's worth the money, they start stealing those too, bro. Because at the end of the day, it's a fight, and it's saving money at the end of the day. It ain't about nothing else.
And just to land this, so I can finish. For everybody who had said, and Ray, you're totally right with your take on this. For everybody who said, Manny Pacquiao doesn't have a chance, Manny Pacquiao is too old, blah blah blah. Let me just remind y'all that this fight is in Vegas. Number one. So if this goes to decision, no matter what you're thinking, or whatever you might think the result may be. Maybe Barrios did dominate, whatever. Don't be surprised if you hear Manny Pacquiao won. Because you know what the fight is? After Manny Pacquiao wins the WBC title, Turkey can pay him tons of money in Riyadh because the Middle East is one of the largest populations for Filipinos, right? He would pay him a grip to fight anyone. Rolly Romero, Conor Benn. Oh, whoa, wait. How about Floyd Mayweather? How about Floyd Mayweather?
Not Floyd. I heard he got a house over there in Dubai, man. Anyway, that being said, salute to everybody in the panel, man. Salute to you guys. Salute. I appreciate you guys, man. Listen, guys, I'm not going to be on tomorrow. I'm traveling tomorrow. Probably won't see you guys until Saturday. Inshallah, everything works out the way I want it to work out.
Inshallah.
I'll be calling the fights.
Okay, Ray, everybody, have a good day.
Yep.
Thanks, Echo. You're awesome.
Thanks
Yo,
for everybody.
Appreciate y'all.
This panel was another hit, man. Another hit, man. I appreciate you guys. Salute to all you guys. It's at ATP Combat Media. Hey, guys, like, hit the thumbs up if you haven't done it. Subscribe to the channel. Until the next one. You know how we
Yes.
carry it.
And one more thing. Drop your links in the chat as we head out.
At this point,
Yeah.
yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.